what's a bitch? All a nigga wanna do is this. Gotta make that money. Calling me the sector godfather. Type D the real name, the sector get bob. They said that I'm the nigga that they all love to hate. Fuck the damn chat, nigga. I say it's okay. Motherfuckers want the good guys to come back. Wanna beef with real niggas cause they channel wax. At the church sector in a motherfucking frenzy. Crazy ass nigga KOM tried to see. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. The sector wanna see a new beef every week. Especially from new niggas that wanna beef with me. Some say it's fun and some say it's hard. Trigger the bitch nigga, so he exposed the void. Took a trip to Vegas and we was Vegas lit. The haters saw the videos and they say ain't that a bitch. Left the damn sector, said my rivals tried to take my title. How the hell you try to take my title? I ain't got no fucking rival. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. Came for my motherfucking certifications, came for my license, and they came for my accreditation. All the fucking hating don't stop. The Godfather still came on top. Motherfuckers wanna take me down. Wanna see my dollars go from up and then down. The Godfather gon' win anyway. I end the fucking year with fuck the DBA. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. Hate niggas like, 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 hate niggas like. Welcome, everybody. Sorry, I am late, niggas. I'm on Colored People Time today. This is Coach D. Darrell Spears. We're going to have another hot topic for today. We're going to focus once again on the Manosphere. We're going to focus on narcissistic-like behaviors and traits of situations that I have encountered as it involves content creators in this sector. Now, as you all know, from my perspective, the term is overly used and saturated throughout YouTube. There's so many people using this word, in my opinion, irresponsibly. Just, if you did something wrong, it's narcissistic. Everything is narcissism. Everything, you're narcissistic. If you're selfish, you're narcissistic. You're all about yourself. It's narcissistic. Okay? It's not what narcissism is. It involves more than that. It involves the duration, the repetitiveness of certain behaviors. Narcissism comprised of 9 traits. You must have 5 of those 9 traits in order to be clinically diagnosed. Just saying. Nobody wants to listen to a therapist. But it's funny, guys, how no one wants to listen to a therapist, But as I have been watching and seeing, is the amount of times that people have used the narcissistic term, they reference a therapist. And they say you need to get, I don't understand how YouTube tells people, content creators, they need to see a therapist. But when the therapist tries to educate you on the effectiveness and the effective way of using the term, which it is a bona fide DSM diagnosis, nobody wants to listen. I don't get that. People are sitting here saying, particularly of late with Derrick Jackson and his wife, people are saying that Derrick Jackson and his wife are both narcissistic. And the bottom line is that narcissistic people do not date each other. Narcissistic people will not marry each other. that's they don't attract, because they're both wanting they both have unrealistic expectations of one another. That relationship will quickly die out. I'm just saying. And there is a narcissistic personality inventory. The most effective way of measuring it is through the MMPI, the Minnesota multiphasic inventory, which is a long ass test that takes about 3 to 4 hours to administer. There's no way two narcissists would be living in the same home. And I just wish that. And then I saw someone, because now people think because they can look up the traits that makes them the expert without not understanding how it presents. And so when you look at the 9 traits of narcissism, it's very easy to just point and say, oh yeah, you did this. Oh yeah, you did that. But it's not that simple. There has to be issues of how often you showed those behaviors, the various environments that you exhibited this behavior, and the duration, and also how certain traits are working collectively with at least 4 other narcissistic traits. Now, because of where I'm at as at who I am as a therapist, I understand that I cannot throw around terms. I would never sit here and speak in terms of somebody being any type of mental illness unless I assess them. And because of my status as a content creator, I can't do that. And even if I saw someone in person and assessed them, I couldn't even talk about it unless they gave me consent. And even if they gave me consent, I still would refuse to put their business out on YouTube. Even if they gave me verbal consent, I would still, not verbal consent, verbal or written consent, I would still say decline to talk to the public about it. Shout out to Low Cash, shout out to Miss Queen, Sunkiss, Dr. Nikki. Shout out to Cassandra Brown, BMT in the house, Joseph Smith, Spot 'em, Shot 'em, Spot 'em TV, Shatira, hey baby, how you doing? I am Human First. Appreciate everybody for coming in. I am broadcasting from D Darrell Live, Rebirth Live, and also D Darrell the Rebirth. I chose to do that just to make sure that I got people from that may miss it. They only watch one channel. If you are watching D Darrell Live, you're more than happy. You're more than happy to come over to Derail the Rebirth Live and chop it up with me. If you're not subscribed to Derail the Rebirth Live, please subscribe and share the video. Okay? Now, I am going to go ahead and bring the link out for those that want to talk about is the Manosphere narcissist. It just is full of narcissists. Okay? And I would like people who wants to talk about it. They are more than happy to come up and talk about it. Now, my position is this. We're going to talk about the 9 traits. Those 9 traits deal with inflated sense of self, preoccupation with beauty, success, and power, entitlement, can only be around people who are of certain social status or someone that has some type of special position. At least they perceive it as such. Interpersonally exploitive to others for their own gain. That's one of the key components that most people look at. Arrogance is one of the more easier to spot. A lack of empathy and must be admired by others. Get off by being admired by others. It is highly intoxicating for someone who has some level of narcissism, or at least those traits, to feel like other people must validate who they are. The issue is that, and this is what people have to understand about narcissism, the perspective that they have about themselves is not real. It's disingenuous because the status that they think that they have is not realistic. Most narcissists are not successful people. They're not successful. There are people who are not successful but want other people to believe that they're successful. Now, I've told you all before when I talked about this topic, I've treated about 3 or 4 narcissists my whole career. And I have saw hundreds and thousands of clients. Narcissism is not a diagnosis that's just thrown around, like that. That's why I have an issue with people using that term, because I understand that there are other illnesses that mimic and very similar to narcissism that you all are not aware of. And I'm afraid if I start talking about those, then people are going to start saying that other people have actually these illnesses. So I'm just going to leave that alone. But I'm going to repeat this again. There are 9 traits: sense of self-importance, preoccupations with one's sense of power, beauty, success, achievement, extreme sense of entitlement, feel like they only should be around certain people of wealth, importance, status, exploitive to others, arrogant, they don't have empathy for other people, and they have to be admired by others. And in some situations, when you may look this up and you may see this on social media when they talk about narcissistic rage, a lot of people may break out into a narcissistic rage or become upset or violent when they don't get that validation from others. Okay? I want you all to understand that. Now, my purpose tonight, and for those that want to get the link, you can come up. I want to talk about how that relates to Manosphere content creators. Because my position is that the Manosphere is not full of narcissists. Now, it's full of some guys who have some weird ass points of views. There's a lot of homosexuals. There are a lot of guys who are, have a very odd outlook on females. There's a lot of guys who have poor self-esteem. There are a lot of guys who are socially awkward. And be honest with you, they're just some guys who just, they have other illnesses
that contribute to why they are in the position that they're in. And that's what I would like to tackle. I have very few examples of me thinking someone is narcissistic. I would like for those who are in the chat, if you have an example of someone that you feel is narcissistic in the manosphere, please give me an example and who that person is, and I could somewhat, examine that and say whether that may qualify or not. Shatero said, I think I've seen some rage. There have been some people who have came out in rage. And again, I'm going to say this. The manosphere is full of people who have other levels of trauma, other issues, other mental health issues, obviously. But I don't think that is narcissism. Because one of the reasons is that a narcissistic person is not going to cry about women for years and years and years. The narcissistic person is going to try to exploit the women to give them the self-validation that they seek. They're not going to complain. They're not going to sit here and cry and whine and bitch and throw fits and hissy fits and blame them for why they can't get. No, they're going to find exploitative means to make these women think that they're the hottest thing, the best thing since sliced bread. That's what a narcissistic person would do. A narcissistic person will try to convince that person that they're the best thing going and that they should remind them of how great they are every day. That is not an example of how these guys function. We got guys in here who are depressed. We have guys in here who got mommy issues. There are a lot of guys in the manosphere who have been abused by a woman, by their mother or some other female in their family, both either sexually or physically. And that's a topic that is not talked about enough. And I'm gonna tell you, when I create videos on my Life Solutions channel that focuses on the relationship between Black women and Black mothers and their children, their sons, every time, those are my most looked at videos, and I see people from that space, go into that channel, and they give these long, drawn out as comments, 3-4 paragraphs long, about their relationship with their mom or their sister or whatever female. And I'm gonna give you an example of what it sounds like. Hey, D. Durrell, I'm glad you spoke on this issue. My mom is just like that. Man, my mom used to bring home a man every night, and she put me out the house so she can move him in. And so I had to sell drugs and do all kinds of stuff to make it. And even when I turned my life around, she had the audacity to ask me for money. And then she took the money and gave it to her boyfriend or somebody else and left me hanging. My mom never told me she loved me and cared for me. She just tried to use me. And she treated me like this all my life. Those are the type of messages that I get every time I talk about the relationship between young Black boys and their mothers. You can check it out for yourself. You can go to my D. Durrell Life Solutions channel, and the proof is in the pudding. You will see those types of responses. That is not an example of narcissistic behavior. It's not. It's not. And I know people are saying, well, this person is narcissistic because they always feel that they do be like this. Narcissism is not relegated to how somebody is treated in a relationship. Narcissism is fueled in how a person functions in all aspects of their life. I'm talking about relationships, not only personal, romantic, but also with family, friends, workplace, education, just people in the community, whether they're following laws. Because narcissists, there are a certain aspect, group, a percentage of narcissistic people who commit crimes. A lot of narcissistic people commit crimes. And lastly, I want to identify that we must understand that a person who may be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder and exhibit those traits, they probably have another mental health illness that accompanies that narcissism. So that's why when people talk about, well, most narcissistic people don't seek treatment, that's not necessarily true. Now, for the most part, it does have some level of truth, but if a narcissistic person has a type, what is called a axis 1, we don't use axis 1 and 2 anymore, but I still may say it time to time because it's been stated like that for years, because narcissistic personality, all personality disorders are considered axis 2 illnesses. If a person has what is called an axis 1 illness, it runs comorbid with narcissism. So they may have bipolar disorder. They may have major depression disorder. They may have social anxiety disorder. They may have PTSD. They may have Asperger's. I'm sorry, not Asperger's, but autism spectrum disorder. These are things that can run in line with narcissistic behavior. So
is narcissism, it's always accompanied by something, or it stands alone?
It's highly, I'm going to say from my experience, it is going to be highly likely that it is accompanied by another mental health illness. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because, and as I stated, axis 1 disorders can run in line with axis 2. Most of these people may have another form of mental illness. Now, there are people who may have narcissism alone. I don't know the exact percentages because that's hard to measure, but my experience, clinical experience, tells me that they probably have another illness besides narcissistic personality disorder. I am willing to bet that that's the case in most situations, not all situations, but most situations, I'm going to say they probably have another illness also. From my experience.
So, is there a mental illness that incorporates mediocrity and failure and wanting praise for that?
Is there an illness that encompasses mediocrity and want praise?
And failure and wanting praise for that.
But that's a trait of narcissism.
Oh, so okay.
That is actually that's what I was saying earlier in regards to most narcissists have undesirable lives, but they want to project themselves to others as being greater than what they are, and they want you to believe that, even though that's why I said it's unrealistic and it's disingenuous, because the reality is that there are people. I'm gonna give you an example. Matter of fact, this actually does relate is a trait of people in the north. You know, people in the Manosphere. You remember how everybody talk about I got 6 figures, right?
Yes.
That's a narcissistic trait, because most of these Negroes talking about they're making 6 figures are lying. They don't. They don't have that. That's a trait. Not saying that they're narcissistic, but is no way in hell you got people, all these people in this space and 95% of y'all all work in tech at a high level, making $100,000. Stop. Let's stop with that. I had to get on BGS about that. He's tried to sit there and lie and talk about most 90% of his subscribers make over $80,000 and they professional and work in tech and they have all these advanced degrees. I'll say stop. If they were that polished and successful, they would not be listening to you. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. That is not true. Now, a narcissistic person will go through extreme measures to try to convince you that that's their truth, but in reality, it's not. You know, a lot of con men, people who con people, they have narcissistic traits. It takes a person who had that type of personality to basically, I'm talking about professional con men who go through all types of extreme measures of taking on different names, personalities, pretending to be something they're not, lying about. And notice when I talked about the traits of a lot of narcissistic people want you to believe they have to be around, or they've been around people who are like, let's say they're around movie stars, they're around politicians, millionaires, billionaires, and they'll take small, let's say they'll take a small experience. Let's say they bumped into somebody at a event and they only met them and talked, maybe just said hey to them, but they want to convince you that they went out to drink, went out on the town, they took vacations in the Caribbean together, hung out in the same circles, had sex orgies together. You know, this is the shit that a narcissist person that's truly narcissist would do, because they lie a lot. But in the lies are fueled in a manner so that you will believe it and praise them or have admiration for them for being at this level. But it's all a lie. It's false. It's not real. Narcissists are very good at convincing people that they are as great as they're, as great as they want to think that they are. It's not based on truth. And
well, so I don't think they're gonna go to extreme lengths to make nobody believe it. So,
yes, they do. Yes, they do. They go
in the Manosphere.
No, well, not in the Manosphere. I'm just speaking technically, just from just real narcissists is what I'm saying. I'm talking about the Manosphere. I don't think they narcissistic. I think they just need therapy. I don't know what the hell wrong with them, but I don't think they narcissist. I think they have narcissistic traits. Yeah, that's the basis of what I'm saying. I say that I think that a lot of guys in the Manosphere have certain types of illnesses, certain situations, a lot of trauma. They have other mental health issues, but I don't think that this is a space that's full of narcissistic people. They're not, because narcissistic individuals are not going to cry about women all day. They're not. They're spending too much of their time trying to exploit women, or they're going to try to convince women that they have a certain status. That's what narcissistic men would do in those situations. They're not going to sit here and cry and make excuses for certain situations. Now, he said, is Austin Holloman a narcissistic person? Now, that's a good question. Thank you, BMT. Now, let's talk about Austin Holloman. Now, as you all know, he was basically with the Passport. I think, didn't he leave the Passport Brothers? I think he left the Passport Brothers. He said he's no longer involved in it. I don't think Austin Holloman had certain traits that I think would be, somewhat in line with narcissism. I think that he did go online to have a certain sense of self-importance. I'm not sure that he was preoccupied with power and beauty and success of himself, not somebody else. This is internal. Do I think he was somewhat arrogant? Yes, I did. Do I think that he wanted to be admired by others? Yes, I do. by men in this space, but all depends to one level. So that's a very interesting person. I think that he had some traits potentially, but I'm not sure it was full scale to say that he's a narcissistic person. Now, I do think us being that he was only 23 years old, he was young and stupid, and he said a lot of dumb stuff. And I think when he looked back at this, when he get older, he's gonna realize that, hey, I was immature, which he is. He did come off as an immature person. Now, another thing, Austin Holloman was begging for money for all of these complaints that he made about black women. This Negro did not have a job. He was not making any money, and he was basically having YouTube subscribers basically subsidize his living to go on these trips. So how are you a person with no money trying to criticize and demand what type of woman you should have? That made no sense. That made literally no sense. But that's what he did. What's up, BMT?
Yo, what's going on, man?
What's up, player?
Not too much. No, I was telling you, actually, his mother and his sister were the ones who were he was getting funds from. He was getting funds from. Don't get me wrong, the guys, that was another subsidized source of income. But he had money he was getting from his family. That's why whenever he got in trouble, his family, a lot of these guys who go a CEO over abroad, they usually reach back to their family for help. But Austin had his mom and his sister, even though he said that Western women were bad. His answer was to go to overseas and abroad. And the reason why I back it up, he would showcase women and he would use them. If he brought the woman over to his house, he would lock the door. He would ask her all kind of questions in the interview on why she was effeminate and submissive and X, Y, and Z. Had a lot of insecurities and literally would pass the buck or blame onto society, American society, as well as women, why things happen the way they did. Actually, he blamed it that, hey, I did nothing wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. These women are feminists. They're picking on me. So, I mean, I don't know, man. And I got another one in the chamber. But yeah, Austin, definitely, that kid, he had issues. He had a lot of issues going on. It's him and another guy. That black boy who's like, you like my girlfriend? Isn't she pretty? Isn't she pretty? We're gonna get married. And he said, tell her she cooks and she cleans. But then after that, he got with another girl. So a lot of these dudes, they kind of have a lot of issues, man.
Yeah, they do. They have a lot of issues. And
yeah.
And the thing about it, like, we've seen people in the Manosphere speak on a lot of issues that they've had growing up, particularly in their childhood and things like that, particularly issues with their mom, particularly those that didn't grow up with a dad. They have dad issues. They have mommy issues. They have issues with the Black community, being ostracized by the Black community because of their talking points and their perspectives, particularly from a political standpoint. And that's why a lot of them don't like the community. That's why they use the term community. Because when they were in the community, people looked at them a certain way because they felt they didn't fit in. That is one of the avenues that have led them to seek other women, because this wasn't just coming from women. This was coming from guys too that didn't want to deal with them. I've heard so many guys talk about how, man, you know, when I was growing up, man, you know, my family, you know, they was like this. Everybody was like this. Everybody was like. Matter of fact, you know, the best example of that. Who is that guy from Dallas? That's a conservative, and he coons it up all the time. Tate. What's his name?
Andrew, not Little Big Nate. And Little Big Nate or Andrew Tate? No.
That Tate. What's the guy name? He's a conservative from Dallas. He used to be a policeman or something like that.
Brandon Tatum.
Brandon Tatum. I remember when Brandon Tatum, and for those, this shows how long I've been in this sector. I remember when Brandon Tatum was on, O'Shea interviewed Brandon Tatum before he blew up. Brandon Tatum talked about how, man, when I was in the community, man, black people didn't help me out. Nobody did nothing for me. My family didn't do nothing. But when I got with these white folks, they lifted me up and they showed me another way. And I did this. And every time he talked about black people in his family, in his community, it was all negative. And when he talked about white folks, he felt like there was the second coming of Christ.
Okay.
Those are some issues. And I remember, and I know you remember, because we remember Brandon Tatum before. I've
been on panels with him.
That's what I'm saying. I know you should remember. I remember when he was being, and he was on O'Shea's channel multiple times. But I remember that at first he told the story of what led him to marrying what he married and having his perspective. And every time he compared what he grew up with in the black community versus what he's seen in the white community.
Okay. So if you're using him, then that would mean Donovan Sharp would be a narcissist.
No, I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they're narcissists. What I'm saying
I'm just saying, but the way Donovan Sharp always complains about black men and different issues, and also how he's this and that, like he puts himself as an Adonis or the next gift to God, type of thing. He like literally is pretty interesting. I would call him, before there was a goddamn Andrew Tate, we had Donovan Sharp. I would say I put a ranking with Donovan, like I put a few dating coaches in there, like a few dating coaches, like Mr. Let Go, a Donovan Sharp. Let's see, who else can I grab? Who else can I grab in that damn thing? David Carroll was definitely a narcissist. That motherfucker, swear to God, he was a coming of a prophet. Who else had it? Obsidian, that's a narcissist. I'm putting these at, I'm calling them narcissists. I don't give a shit. That's what they are. Okay. Okay, and then you'd also have Little Big Nate. He's definitely one of them. And who's the guy that funded Little Big Nate? That dude.
Theo Wop.
That gave him all that money.
Now I'm gonna say this about Theo Wop.
You know, we throwing out names tonight, so I mean, might as well get it out the way.
Listen, Theo Wop is an interesting character. I don't know enough. I've only crossed hands with him one time on Ridge the Bad Guy when he felt some type of way about me shitting on him for throwing away $30,000. But I'm gonna leave that away.
That was not no $30,000 meeting. It was not no $30,000 meeting. You need to stop that bullshit. Like, that was not $30,000. I don't know what the hell they talking about. Like, they didn't even have a projection film, and then you can go rent one of them damn things. So come on, man.
That's what he stated.
Okay.
Now you know who also now another interesting character that shows some traits of potential is the guy with the Fight Club.
Anton, damn, that motherfucker.
Now, this is what I observed. Anton is an narcissist. Anton Daniels. And I'm just looking at some of his behavior. This nigga went out of his way to say, you know, I own $10,000 watches, and I got all these watches that he showed, and the woman should have to worship me, and I'm this, and I'm of this status, and I got this, and I got that, and this is what I'm doing. I'm making business money. Like, okay, you trying too hard to convince people that you got all this money. If you got it, you got it. And
it's called poverty pimping. That's poverty pimping.
But I'm like Anton, you claiming you're going. Now I know for myself, I talk about the things that I do and I show my shit, you know, but at the same time, I'm not, you know, this nigga will go out of his way to keep repeating what he got and what he has and I'm going to do this business, and from what I've known,
I question that.
I'm gonna say this. He is successful.
He is.
I don't now to what extent as he say he is. I don't know that, but he seems to have some things in line. But now this is
bro,
one thing
you can rent jewelry. You do know you can rent jewelry. Like that is a thing. Listen, I don't give a shit about these niggas. Like you can rent jewelry. That is a thing. Niggas rent jewelry these days.
Well, he showed the boxes of
and
he started. Now, I don't know. Listen, again, they got people like Chris
you
Rock
can rent
was saying.
Sneakers. Niggas rent sneakers these days.
Chris Rock was saying, if you a certain type of person, you can go to the store. They'll let you wear the jewelry and walk out of there and just return it whenever you want to. So but let me say this. Mr. Kevin Samuels exhibited maybe some narcissistic traits.
You don't want to give them that card. You don't want to give them those cards, man.
And
I've been naming some strong candidates, man.
Now, of all people, now this is I'm gonna say this. When it comes to listen, this is not a diagnosis, because again, I am a therapist and I do understand Negroes and how they, that's why I'm speaking in the language that I am, because I don't want no one to misconstrue that I'm not diagnosing anybody.
They can blame BMT. I don't give a shit. Fuck him.
What I'm stating is this is what Kevin Samuel did, right? It's obvious. Now, this to me, I'm gonna make the case. Number one, Kevin Samuel was never prior to him making it big 3 years ago. Kevin Samuels lied about his success.
That's true.
That is a staunch example of narcissism. Number one, Kevin Samuels. With all the suits, the jewelry, the cologne, the boots, was a cover-up for a man that was actually working at Office Depot.
That's true.
And selling Avon. You did a bunch of research on all this.
I dropped. I know. I showed y'all. He used to go buy. Just giving a backdrop. He used to go buy suits and colognes and stuff, and take them back to get his money back. And the people at those stores hated it that he would do that. Like he would bring back.
He got kicked out of a store one time.
Yeah.
Now, Kevin Samuel owed child support money.
That's true.
Kevin Samuel was nowhere near the success that he had in his first 55 years of his life. The last 2 or 3, okay, but he came on YouTube and he operated under a persona that was not real.
I like when he rented that car and said he had a car, and then kind of found out he had a goddamn busted down vehicle. I like that.
But see, a person who exhibit those traits will use deception. Now, somebody mentioned earlier about sociopaths, and yes, narcissists can be sociopaths. The cluster B personality disorder syndrome, which is a collection of illnesses such as antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and histrionic personality disorder. Those are all illnesses that can make up someone that could be sociopathic. Also, histrionic personality disorder can be exhibited very similar to narcissism. And I plan to do a presentation to give people examples of how some of the symptoms, there's what we call a differential diagnosis. There's certain symptoms that run in line are very similar. That's the reason why I don't use the term narcissism or label people that, because I understand there are also other illnesses that are very similar. They have certain traits that are very similar, and it can be misinterpreted as such. And that's why I'm speaking in the language that I am, because there's a little bit more complexity in labeling or diagnosing someone with this illness, because it can also overlap with other illnesses. So, but Kevin Samuels, to me, is the best example of someone that's from my opinion. And the reason why is because his real life was not reflective of what he personified on YouTube before he hit it big and after he hit it big. Okay? And he did seek validation from others, from black men. He got upset with black men for not supporting his channel. He went on O'Shea channel crying about not getting support and black men not supporting. And so he went to, that was his whole premise for going to women. The women were easier to exploit and manipulate.
Sure.
Let's put this into perspective. That was one of the biggest reasons he went to women, because he could not exploit the men. The men were not buying it. The men called him a gay. They called him LGBT. They talked about the kitten heels, and the only people that gave him protection was BGS and Obsidian. Everybody else shunned him out. And O'Shea, well, I would say O'Shea also, and O'Shea too, but he didn't. But he didn't go to O'Shea as much as Obsidian and BGS. He went to BGS. He grifted
everywhere, but he did grift everywhere to get the stuff that he needed. The one of the things about it, and let's be honest, if you really want to make money, especially on the digital scene, you don't go to black men, you go to goddamn black women. That's actually, honestly, that's actually your fastest pickup to making money, especially in these spaces. You either go get a female co-host, or you go find, or you start marketing to women. A lot of these motherfuckers are broke as fuck. Like, they ain't got no damn money. Like, we know that. I mean, you look at that backdrop, it look like piss stains and goddamn cockroaches crawling in the background and shit. Like, they be like renting in, like, it'd be horrible, goddamn dilapidated environments and shit. And I mean, honestly, you gotta it's just really bad. So we already understand that some of these men are not living their best fundamental life. I mean, that's a bad reality. But yeah, Kevin was smart. I can't get mad at him for doing that, for, hey, let me go sell to the lady. Because when he was trying to tell these dudes that they stink and they smell like piss and, y'all need to learn how to tie a tie and shit, they didn't want to hear that. And it's crazy, but C Boogie was doing that before him. And, they still, C Boogie said, man, these guys don't want help. So him going to the women, they were more receptive to him than the fellas. So honestly, you got to thank the black women for why he got his bag, because, that was it. So I think a lot of dudes are living through him. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. It's and be honest with you, in preparation for this live stream, I didn't even think about Kevin Samuel, and I'm surprised because he should have been top on. I was thinking of
I did. I threw him out.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I thought about not only
what
I thought about smaller YouTubers. I thought about YouTubers in other sectors, that people who left, people who things like that. I just thought about people who are on panels. I was trying to think of.
Is a fucking narcissist. Stanford the P is a narcissist. That's a narcissist.
I'm gonna say this. There are pimps who do exhibit levels of that. I can't say to what extent, but I do say that the type of industry that he operated in can be highly correlated to that. I can't say to what extent, because again, I'm limited on, I don't want to misconstrue people thinking I'm diagnosed.
Come on, man, bro.
I can't do that. I have to listen.
I get you can't, but I listen. I get you can't, but I, as BMT, I can say that motherfucker was a goddamn narcissist. That dude preyed on children. He preyed on women. I mean, he already knew the men were stupid because he was trying to, and then he would try to use religion that he was holy and divine on why he was doing what he was doing. God forgave him, and so y'all should too. But then he'll go right back to pimping, and then he caught HIV and still denied that he was sick from this nasty disease that he had, and still went back to doing the same stuff. So, I mean, come on, man. And honestly, who dies from HIV? Like, literally, you can go get the proper medication, especially in Canada. I mean, he was destitute and broke, which we saw him. For somebody wearing all those suits and saying he got cars and jewelry and stuff, that man was bumming it with a bunch of busted down prostitutes and some retired pimp at a goddamn like shanty shank house. So
Face said he riding it here.
And, you know, we already know. And listen, that man definitely caught a Cadillac to hell. So Sam for the P definitely was a narcissist. That was a narcissist. Even after everybody a narcissist. Listen, boy, I got a whole list. I've been here long enough, man. I'm just waiting for the Manosphere documentary to drop, so that way we can get this out the way. We just need her to get this out the way, man. Eating cold, that's a narcissist. Eating cold, that
now that's an interesting person.
Hey, I got a whole list of names.
Hold on. I'm glad you brought up Edie Cole. Now, hold on. I had to discuss this because Edie Cole. Now,
you remember him, D?
Yeah, I remember. Remember that classic little interaction with him and Cynthia G. But
what?
Yeah, you remember that? It went viral.
Yeah, man.
But
oh man!
But remember, Edie Cole. Now I know the industry that Edie Cole worked in, and Edie Cole basically was he made a lot of money loaning businesses, small businesses, short-term loans. Okay, and he made a lot of money. Giving bad loans. It all depends on how you
get out of there, D. Get out.
No, hold on. The reason why I want to say this, listen, because it's called a merchant, an MCA, a merchant cash advance. And so basically, because when I saw some of his videos, he talked about I can help you get 50,000 in lines of credit, but see,
pyramid scheme.
But when you think about it, you're getting 50K, but you're getting lines of credit from maybe 3 or 4 different sources. You're not just getting one line of credit. And to me, that is not the same thing, because if you got a $50,000 line of credit for 2 years, for like 24 months to repay, the interest is just one payment. Now, let's say you got 3 loans that equaled up to $50,000. Now you owe 3 different people that all have different high-ass interest rates. And see, Edie Cole was a little bit misleading. But I'm not sure. Now, he did travel, and he said he was out in Puerto Rico or somewhere. He tried to do that. I'm a man of God. Try to go overseas, find him a goddamn a Puerto Rican girl or whatever type of girl. She finessed his ass. Then he come back, man. Them girls overseas, man. They done got my ass. He got finessed out of money?
Yeah, they finessed his ass. His stupid ass. Like, listen, when these dudes be going overseas for so-called educated men, how the hell do these women be running game on these niggas? I always be curious about that.
So how much money did he get? He got scammed out of.
Oh man! Like listen, that man took a hit, man. The way he was going off his new queen to be, and shit. All of a sudden he got off the internet, and then he came back one day, and the dude talking about the chat like, yeah, man, Edie Cole took a bad lick overseas, man. Damn, and I was like, he got hit bad to get sent right back. He got hit right back.
Oh, man.
Hey, bro, when you get your ass kicked out of a third world or developing country, you took a pretty bad stove. That's Stovegate before there was a game changer. It was Edie Cole. Shout out to you, Edie Cole. I don't know how them Puerto Rican bitches got your ass, but they got you, nigga.
Damn, man. I'm sad to hear that, man, because I didn't
Not
realize.
me. No, not me. It's after these niggas. Do not shed a tear for none of these motherfuckers. No. You talk your shit. You damn. I remember when he was having that shit with Sin for the P. That Sin for the P. Doggone. What's the man's name? Goddamn. Sly. He was talking with Sly about, but that's when Sly came out about being an atheist. And after that, the shit came out. That's when they started having that battle of the word and shit. Then he was about how he makes money, how a lot of these guys, they ain't nowhere close to him. Oh, he was talking mad cash shit. And we just sat there, O'Shea laughing and getting the cash. And then after that, then I think MOT stepped to him and got to an argument. And then Sly stepped to him. And then after that, he was starting to talk about his business and how he makes money, X, Y, and Z. Then he said, yeah, I'm going overseas anyway, and I'm going to make way more money. And you broke-ass motherfucker, y'all can't do nothing about it. And after that, all right, month one, month two came by, and this nigga said, y'all got to watch out for them girls overseas. And I was like, well, nigga, I thought you was educated and smart, and you got multiple lines of income. At least when Amir went overseas, you saw Dynas work. Dynas wasn't tricking like these niggas. These niggas who went overseas trick, they like defeated and busted down and shit. I love it. I love when they come back defeated and they take the walk of shame on the panel. Like, hey, bro, what happened? Man, them girls over there, they ain't shit. And
But see, this is my issue. But they don't understand. These women do this all year round. They prepared for your ass. They're trained to do this shit. You bring in your happy-go-lucky ass out there, and these women are trained and prepared for you. These women may see hundreds of guys every year, and you're not the only one. You're just one of many. And they willing to sell femininity to lure your pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And these niggas think that. And the thing about it, so this is like an oxymoron. They think traditional. You have to be in a third world country to be a traditional woman. Now, first of all, I want to know what the fuck is a traditional woman. Like, what the fuck is a traditional woman? Because
you're not
traditional woman,
you got to go study.
Traditional woman varies based on the culture and the country that you live in. And what's traditional in Russia is not traditional in the United States. What's traditional in France is not traditional in Egypt. Like what the fuck is traditional? This shit. The traditional is also based on the era that you're in. Now, having this dream and this fantasy about women being the way they were 50, 60, 70 years ago is a pipe dream that would never happen. And the society has changed where that's the expectation. Women were not expected to work in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. The expectation for most, I'm gonna just say for American, particularly white women, they were not expected to work. Now they may have chose to work, or some reluctantly had to go to work financially, and particularly for the Black community, women had to work. Now there are some, particularly in rural areas in the South, that these women had, 10, 15, 20 children. They wasn't working. I get that. I come from that type of culture. Both of my grandmothers had over 12 children, 12, 13 plus children. You know what I'm saying? That was common, but urban Black people were not having those types of children, but they were having those children in the South. So it was a different family dynamic. But this superficial sense of what a traditional woman is supposed to be and how she's supposed to act, that is obsolete in 2023, and it will never that will never surface again at a high level, because number one, most women are not going to agree to that, and also most men can't afford to take care of a whole family by themselves. off of one income. And that's the reality of it, BMT. Most men cannot afford that. Very few men can take care of a house of 3 or 4 other people, including themselves, off of one income. The majority of men don't make that kind of money. That's just the facts.
Tell it to these guys, man. You can take care of them with $200, a pack of bubblegum and cigarettes, and a cup of milk. I don't know, bro. It's like when I listen to a lot of these dudes, because we got next on the list is Glendon Cameron. But the way how a lot of these dudes talk, they like women dilapidated. They like men stupid. They like some kind of pyramid scheme that you have to buy. So, listen, yeah, that's KS's boyfriend. I'm glad that he's still mourning his boyfriend. So, or his girlfriend.
He had a Freudian slip and said, "Oh, remember I used to date Kevin." Oh, no, I didn't date. I mean, what I meant was when I talked to Kevin.
let him mourn Kivana in peace. I'm happy. June is coming up. It's their month, and he's gonna mourn his boyfriend. It must have been hard that he didn't get to sit in the front row and mourn Kivana.
The wacky world came out the clouds on that one. Shut out the gay day, man. Shut out the gay day.
Like I say, he wanted to go. Listen, he wanted to go to the funeral, man. You know them goddamn Tennessee or Kentucky funerals. You can't. Your male lover can't go up there and mourn you or cry for you. He bought a nice Lee Daniels dress and he wanted to go up there and wear it for Kivana, and but he couldn't do that. So I guess they had to put his ass in the dirt.
Now this is an interesting one. Dennis Sperling. Now, Dennis Sperling in Houston, man. I've never heard of Dennis Sperling until he got on YouTube. I don't know a lot about him.
He a car insurance lawyer. He a car chasing lawyer. He's an accidental chasing lawyer.
Yeah. Dennis Sperling. Lord. But didn't Dennis Sperling denounce the Manosphere? He left. He said he's not.
No, 1 minute it's like crack to him. He goes and come back. I'm leaving y'all, and I'm coming back. Uncle Dennis. They call him Uncle Dennis. All that good shit. Yeah.
Dennis Sperling made the biggest bag off of Kevin Samuel's death.
Oh yes.
Him and Obsidian made the money off the book, but that was before he died. But off of his death, Dennis Sperling made a bag.
Yes, I can agree to that.
That was some despicable ass shit that he did with that funeral. Now that shit was definitely an example of some level of potential narcissistic traits. That shit was to me, I was embarrassed for Dennis and his lack of humanity for making money off this man's funeral. That shit. Hey, if you're
gonna do that, you gotta throw that wig hairing bitch on there. What's that girl? The one who was getting drunk with mediocre tutorials. And she got to go on there too.
Melanie. Oh yeah, Melanie Keane also made a bag.
We'll get to her. We'll get to her next. I'll put her on the board. You can go ahead. Go ahead.
Dennis Sperling. That shit was so despicable. How he interviewed the people. He interviewed, I think it was one of Kevin's family members. I forgot, something like that. That shit. And
I think it was like his cousin or his brother or some shit.
Yeah, man, that shit was horrible.
They didn't even know who the fuck he was. They didn't even know who the hell this nigga. Like, who
didn't know who the guy was, and was asking for cash apps and donations. And he had a screen full of, I'm talking $100, $200, $300 super chats. And he ran that in the ground for at least a week and a half to 2 weeks.
And none of the other dudes in the chat try to check him. Like, hey, bro, I think we're taking it too far with Kevin. None of them try to say, hey, man, this is too far, man. Like, they ain't try to check his ass about that shit.
They just went with the flow.
When you die, you can't die around the Manosphere. They make a bag off of your debt. It's like an insurance policy shit or something like that. They gotta get a bag off you when you die. Go cash in your name or your corpse. So I expect when one of me you to die, they're probably gonna get a nice good roast funeral session or some shit. So I'm waiting for it. At least get up to like $400 or $500 off of me. That's all I ask for y'all niggas. Just at least $500 off of me if y'all could do that.
I'm gonna say this, man. I was like, to me, man, that to me was one of the lowest points of the Manosphere when he did that shit. From my perspective, now that's just me. That whole funeral ordeal, and you listen, man.
Was that was your lowest point for you for the Manosphere? That was your lowest point?
I mean, my lowest as far as what I've seen, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because this man died, man. Look, man, I get it. You may not like Kevin. I get all that. I'm looking past that, because this man.
No, I know you spoke highly of him. You gotta say, "Hey, man, let's respect the family," and I agree with that. I didn't.
Yeah,
I
and
agree
to
with
me, when, like you said, you brought the people on. You claimed you knew so much and you was involved in this, but then you didn't know the man that came up. You had no idea who this person was. You was lying to the sector, having them believing that you and Kevin was so close, and you wasn't. Let's stop it, man. That shit was so disrespectful, man. To me, that was one of the lowest things I've ever seen from this space. That's just me. There could be other stuff I may be missing, but that was definitely one of the lowest.
I would probably say the selling of the funeral videos. I thought that was pretty.
They actually sold it, the like DVD tapes.
Well, they were just like, we're gonna have a watch party and we appreciate if y'all donate. And I was like, well, damn, it's not like y'all sending that money to the family or anything. Like y'all are actually trying to cash in. Like that's how you know there's no shame with these niggas. There is no shame.
But there is no shame. But also, let's keep in mind, Anton came to that. Anton was the only one that went to that funeral.
We can give that to Anton. Anton did that.
But see, hold on. But that
was a publicity stunt. That was a publicity stunt.
That's what I was gonna say. Like we can give him credit for that, but he could have had ulterior motives too. Now, what I can say, I didn't see Anton doing tons of videos. And I didn't see Anton doing tons of videos to get money. I didn't see him do that. He did show up, which I was surprised. I didn't even know he knew Kevin like that. And he was there. You didn't see him running everything in the ground. You didn't see that. So I don't know. I may have to give him a little credit for that.
Not me. Because here's the thing about, first of all, none of the family knew who the hell these people were. Like, I mean, for goddamn, y'all could have been hobos. Like, looking at that funeral, they had a fat lady up there singing Amazing Grace. There wasn't that many people at the service. So, honestly, anybody going up there and singing Jesus on the main line, I mean, I could have probably gone up there and got one up there with my kids, and we could have had a goddamn good service and everything. I mean, they had a whole Sunday service for Sinful to Pete. So, you already know these niggas have church services for anybody. Pedo, sexual deviant, deadbeat. Everybody get a church service in the Manosphere. So, that's their going away service for that nigga. So I understand. I don't got nothing against the nigga, but the nigga, I find it funny. Everything he said he hated was at his funeral, sending his ass off. You know what I'm saying? None of his celebrity friends were there. None of these people that said that they know him. So that was definitely nigga definitely living the dream.
The bottom line, he didn't have any celebrity friends. That's the problem. The problem is that Kevin's life his funeral was a reflection of how people cared about him living. The fact of the matter, I really think Kevin isolated himself from his family, and he didn't fuck with them, and they didn't fuck with him. That's just the bottom line. And so the people that you saw, the man who's supposed to be at this stature probably didn't have over 50 people at his funeral. That to me is a reflection of his life and how he cared about people and how people cared about him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like my thing is that you can tell a lot about a person based on who's or how many people at their funeral. Like,
that's
people
deep.
That's just the truth, man. I'm a person.
That is true.
Look, man, I I hate going to funerals.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go to a funeral, okay, and I see people flying from out of state to come see somebody and pay their respects, that says a lot. When I see people driving 3, 4, 5 hours to go see their family member, their cousin they ain't seen in 10 years, that lets me know what kind of person that was.
I agree. You know? I agree.
But if I see a funeral and all I see is mom, dad, sister, family, a secret kid that nobody knew about that showed up, you know how the black community do on that front.
Oh,
you know, we didn't know he had this, and they pop up, and you got like less than 50 people there, and you know everybody there doing their thing, and then you know you got the GoFundMe account for trying to pay for this and that, and you know that lets me know what kind of situation that is, what type of person that was. I mean, that's just the reality. I mean, listen, the truth comes out, BMT.
Oh yes, oh yes.
And look, and you know how the black community we have. See, people claim black community. There's no culture. Yes, we do have culture.
Plenty.
We have plenty of culture. We have a lot of good shit that we've gotten away from, and then we got a lot of fucked up shit that we like to hold on to. And one of the biggest parts of black culture is how we deal with death and the aftermath of death. Because in the black community, what happens is that we have a lot of secrets and shit. We find out Pawpaw had 2 other kids, and we all trying to divvy up what the land and property, and these other 2 kids got the right to everything everybody else got, and now we all mad about this and that. And we didn't know this and that. And they
Big Mama lying ass. Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is black shit. We want to talk about black culture.
No, save that for later. Save that for later. We already know we full of shit at funeral time, boy. All the secrets. Listen, I'll tell you, man, when you die, you can't keep them secrets back anymore. You can't keep those secrets back. All them traumas coming out, everything. The person that you don't like going to be there. Your bastard kids are going to probably come there. I done been there for that awkward presentation.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh God. Talk about a cold room.
They saying most black people only go to funerals to be nosy. That's black culture.
Oh yep. I ain't gonna lie. That's why I went there for. I ain't gonna lie. I actually went to a funeral to fight. I was just expecting, like, listen, bro.
That's another part of ratchet black culture.
Judge me, y'all. Don't
fights that happen after the funeral. I have been to funerals and literally seen people going at blows with each other. People mad, want to fight. People don't want to. You know, I have seen situations where people were barred from coming in.
Yep, sure enough.
This shit is unique to black culture. This shit don't have. I mean, I can't speak for other.
We can't speak for them. We don't know.
No. But I'm gonna say this. I have seen when I hear white people talking about funerals. Number one, the funeral ain't lasting 2-3 hours. Number one. Number two,
Don't do us like that, D. Don't do us like that. No, we be having some good services. We be having some damn good services.
We will wait damn near 2 to 3 weeks to have a funeral.
Okay, but we got to get everybody there at the funeral. Grandma got to make a family potato salad. The minister got to get paid. Come on now, you know we got to get paid now for the goddamn service now. Come on now, we got to get paid.
White people bury their people within 2 to 3 days. Whether you make it or not, that's whatever. You ain't here for the funeral in 2 or 3 days. Well, tough.
That should be boring.
Yeah, and another thing, they say words. They have a little, 2 minute, 20 minute pastor giving his little, sermon or whatever, and that's it. They bury him. They move on. Black people, we got to have a 2-hour service. We got to have a dinner afterwards that lasts another 3 to 4 hours. And we got to.
Wait, you skipped the altar call part. You skipped the altar. They got to have an altar call.
Yeah, altar call. You can't miss that. I remember somebody got saved and caught the Holy Ghost. Somebody had to caught the Holy Ghost during the funeral. It was a pretty beautiful moment, and also somebody had a demon in them. So yeah, I was there for all of that shit. It was pretty wild. No, I'm dead ass. I already know how. Listen, my granddad, he gonna preach a sermon. He having a revival.
This is black culture. This is black culture. This is
Dave, please don't come to my funeral, because you gonna fuck it up. You gonna say some shit down in here.
This is how we deal with death. Whether it's toxic or not, this is how black people deal with death.
And I still got family members who still beefing over that leather jacket that grandpa ain't leave to somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, what's up with that? It's like the crows coming to pick apart the remains. That's crazy.
Yes.
And you know what else is another toxic way that we deal with death?
It's not toxic.
That we don't leave. No. I'm saying this one. We don't leave our business in order. We don't. Life insurance. No, right?
That's not what we go to funeral for. We go there to have fun, to pray, to eat potato salad, play the drum. I don't know who paying for the funeral costs, but that's sucks for whoever got to pay for that shit.
That repast spaghetti with the chicken wings.
That's like, I like that spaghetti with the chicken. I like that spaghetti with the chicken. That's the best
spaghetti. The repast.
I like RC Cola. I like drinking that name brand
Cola and the Hawaiian rolls.
Ooh,
yeah, the rolls. Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be a good funeral. We getting some Hawaiian rolls. Shit,
and that fruit punch drink with that plastic, the plastic gourd, like and little salad, little salad on the side that nobody really eat. Yeah.
You know what? I got a question. How come at black funeral we never have counseling after that? Nobody. I'm pretty sure nobody like your black ass at the funeral, but nobody want to hear you counseling shit at them damn funeral. Like we don't need it.
I play the background. That's what I do. I play the background.
You on somebody's territory?
That's what I'm doing. I'm not exerting myself into anything.
I feel you, D. I just be sitting there. I'm like, listen, I'm here. Any of the family members, I'm here for you. Let me know what's up. Let me know if you need me. I'm just here.
It's funny we want to talk about, legacy and the financial aspects of it, because I have seen some ugly situations over money. Yeah. And particularly if somebody has some money or property, that to me is either two things. Either they don't have any money and people trying to skirmish around about who gonna pay for what and GoFundMe and all this other stuff. Or if they got money, everybody that's in line trying to get that. Those is like two opposites. It's polarizing, where you see those who don't have anything and they're struggling to pay for the funeral.
So speaking of that, so would mean ARC was a narcissist?
Man.
Okay.
That was something nobody wanted to talk about. Let me Everybody was staying away from that. But go ahead.
Now, I'm gonna say this, Gabe. Yeah. I was hypercritical of Alan Roger Curry. And this is the reason why I was hypercritical of him.
Let me go get my moonshine. This will be a long night.
People we see in this space, he actually had a track record of some success.
Yeah.
In which he was a comedian. He was on BET Comedy View. He actually was on, was it Dr. Phil or some other talk show? He had a book that was actually published.
Several books
that were, and I'm not talking about Amazon published BS. That is not a true publishing house. I'm talking about, I'm sorry, this
No, that's true.
Hey. No author slander. No author slander here.
Listen,
we got a lot of artists.
I'm so sick of seeing people claiming that they got a book published on Amazon and they think that they Charles Hemingway or someone or they just think that they wrote in just countless books. ARC's books were actually legitimately published by a publishing house,
right?
And that speaks volumes. So he had a track record of success prior to YouTube, and you died with all this no mode. This what is it? No mode 1 BS.
Right.
You died. You married a woman. You married a woman 30 years younger than you, and had a child, and you left them with nothing.
Come on,
Right.
that's not the way. That's not what. And they were
That's
on
mode
his,
5.
listen,
You
they
didn't
was on
read the
his
other
jock
book.
for him being able to get somebody 30 years younger than having a kid, but to lead him with nothing is the ultimate. Man, that's come on.
But you
I'm
sit
just
there
saying.
on YouTube talking about your past,
Come on,
you know, glory, and you couldn't even have there's no reason ARC shouldn't have had $1 million life insurance policy.
To recognize and call out that black men should not follow that course of action is red pill. That's the red pill they don't want to talk about.
Facts.
Real men don't
To
need
say that
life
rest in
insurance.
peace. Yes, sure. Rest in peace. Absolutely. But they not in peace. The family you left behind isn't at peace.
Number
Come
one,
on.
why would you? What's up, Queen of the South? Appreciate you for coming in. Why would you, at damn near 60 years old, want to bring a child in the world that know damn well by the time they become an adult, you may not even be alive? Number one, to me, that in itself was irresponsible. Yeah. Number two, you didn't even have the means to make sure if you died, this person would have a health, could live a decent life.
Come on,
and thrive.
That's the red pill they don't want to talk about, D-Darrell. That's the red pill stuff that the reality that black men need to face. They don't want to talk about that.
You left a woman that now has to remarry
30 plus.
To make it.
According to the Kevin Samuels thing, she's a post-war baby mother now, right?
But wait a minute. Who created that post?
Come on.
Her sugar daddy. Sugar daddy.
She created it.
Her sugar daddy.
I mean, ARC created that.
Her sugar daddy.
Come on.
So are we going to blame her? Or are we going to blame ARC?
Man.
I'm gonna give 75% to ARC and 25% to her because you couldn't have been that dumb.
Make the choice. Yeah.
You did make a choice, so we're gonna hold her that much damn accountable. But I'm also gonna be like, nigga, like you already were seeing Jesus in your dream when you go to bed. So you already knew you were getting close to the afterlife. So I get it. You married your CNA, that's cute. You know, like all these old niggas do when they about to croak. And so, you know, that's what happened. You know, they always married their CNA or their sugar baby. And I don't give a fuck. This nigga dead. That's his problem.
It is no reason. ARC could have gotten a $250,000 policy.
Could have.
Yeah.
But hold on, listen. He could have got a policy for 30 years. A term policy for 30 years for about $45 to $60. There's no reason why. If you set your ass on YouTube getting donations, I'm just saying this.
Now, when people don't have life insurance, when people don't have insurance, they don't work for any organization. A lot of times, or if they have pre-existing health conditions, it's very difficult. That $45 could turn to several hundred.
Yeah,
maybe even $1,000.
Okay,
yeah.
let's.
It's called having a job. It's called having a job. You know,
they want a job shame and try to act like they bosses and entrepreneurs.
See, that in itself also is not an excuse. You telling me you couldn't have put aside $200 to $300, which is basically less than a car note, or let's just say that's basically your phone, internet, and cable bill, $300. You couldn't have sacrificed, you being ARC, you couldn't put aside $200 to $300 a month to make sure you had a decent policy. So at least when you did pass away, your child and mother could at least survive maybe the next 5 to 8 years off of that money, and she can get a job, or at least
that's not mode. That's not mode. So what are you talking about? That's not the mode. It's not the mode. So I'm sorry. You're talking off code. You're talking some crazy shit. That I don't know what that is. That's not part of the mode.
If we're in a space of speaking of men of culture, thinking men, forward thinking men who plan, who strategize, who have foresight, this to me is like this should be like second
Are we
nature.
talking about men or are we talking about black men? Which one are we talking about? Men or
I'm
black
talking
men?
about black men.
Black men.
Even
Then
black
take that off the
men.
board. Take that off the board. You gotta take it off the
As
board.
black men, that should be second nature.
And it has to be taught. Sorry, that has to be taught nature. You know, you got to teach people that. That's
No, this is the space. This is the space that's equipping men with all types of life advice and everything.
Listen, I like watching
like that
reality hit the floor. It should be. But see, here's the thing about it. When you actually, be a respectable and honorable adult and, you get health insurance for your family, you get some type of car insurance or liability stuff. See, that's stuff that you're supposed to do as an adult. But when your main game is to get online and talk about how you bang girls in the supermarket, which that sounds fake as fuck, or you ride around in your little 90 Porsche and shit like that and talking about your glory days, but you're not looking at the reality. And that's the thing about it. A lot of these narcissistic bastards talk about their glory days are running down the football field and, the bitches that they done had sex with at Freaknik. But then when you ask them, so what's going on with you now? Man, that damn black woman, she done fucked me up and I can't stand that black bitch. And I'll be like, well, damn, nigga, I thought you had it going on like that. Yeah, the gynocracy got me fucked up. Oh, so okay, so I guess the dream.
Let me go to Brother Speak and then Chaos Reign. What's up, Brother Speak?
Hey, how y'all doing?
We're good.
Yeah, I think because a lot of black men don't think about that kind of stuff.
But we're not thinking about that. But we're thinking about women every day.
I know.
So
women are the main goal. Women are the goal. I just had a conversation with Will on Lock. Same thing. It's like their power comes from women. You get the woman, you win. Not legacy, not family. The women. That's. I mean, let's face it. I mean,
but you don't win just because you got a woman. Don't mean you winning.
I know. I agree with you, D. Darrell, but that's how these guys think. Why do you think they're so focused on women? Women. That other stuff, life insurance, stuff like that, they don't talk about that stuff.
That's sad.
So
that's sad. What's up, Chaos Reign?
What's good? Hello. Yeah. I'm sitting back. I missed a good portion of the stream. I know you were gonna go in on the narcissist side of the Manosphere.
Yeah, that's how I want to get back to the narcissist. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we're talking about this. Oh, I thought we're talking about it. That's why I came on.
Yeah. We're still. That's what I can't talk about.
The reason we kind of went off into this because we BMT deemed ARC as a potential narcissist, and basically when we're looking at it from a the periodical phases of ARC's career and life, one could make that conclusion based on the lack thereof in the latter years of his life. Because for a man who had several books, several of those books were New York Times bestsellers.
Yes,
you've been on talk shows. You toured as far as a comedian. He's probably one of the most credible persons that we have in this space that actually had some meaningful success prior to YouTube in the entertainment business. But he left his wife and child with nothing. And he had and part of what I told you, when you're looking at the traits of narcissism, it's a sense of self-importance, and the fact of the matter is that you are in many ways deemed as being arrogant and entitled. This is the embodiment of some of the things that ARC displayed when he was alive. This man actually taught black men just walk up to a woman and say, "Do you want to fuck?" And he had people believing that would get you success with a woman. As dumb as that sounds, there are men that actually thought that they could practice that, and he actually lied to black men to make them think that they can get away with that. I mean, let me know if I'm saying something that's not true, because that's what he did.
No,
I liked his bedtime stories he told these dummies. I liked them. I liked them.
And I think that's also a generational thing, though, too, right? Because it's like I guess ARC's generation would want you to respect them just because they are older, and just like you said, they have some level of credibility. But that doesn't. But it only goes so far. You focus on women. You jumping up on panels, screaming down people, and saying people don't know how to go talk to a bee and everything, and talk about dominatrix and stuff. But your affairs aren't in order for the family that you created. Like, talk about priorities.
No, what's so interesting?
Mixed up.
But
then they want the respect from the younger generation. They want us to respect.
If you said his name, go ahead, Diddy. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, they want the respect from the younger. Right. I think we have a delay. Go ahead, BMT.
No. I don't. Go ahead. I'm gonna fix it.
No, I was just gonna say, they want the respect from the younger generation, but they're not doing the things that are necessary to garner respect. They aren't handling their business as men. You can't not handle your business as men and want respect from the younger generation.
Facts. Now, my position is, like, of all the people that I have seen on YouTube, ARC was not one that I thought was. I expected this from somebody like I could have seen Kevin Samuel doing this, but I never thought ARC was one that I thought would have been in that situation. I could understand Simple to P and definitely David Carroll. I just knew he was a fraud, But I never expected that from him. I actually thought his head was screwed on a little better than that, but I was wrong.
Well, to give him a little pushback, I think that's older men in general. Some older men be like that. They don't think about the future like that. I know my father was one of those people. He didn't even tell us he had a life insurance, and the only reason probably how he got it because of where he worked. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have got life insurance. And when he passed away, ironically of a heart attack, just like Aaron Roger Curry, we didn't even know he had life insurance. We had to literally dig to find that. And it wasn't left to me and my brother. It was left to my cousin.
What?
So, damn.
I
think it's fuck with Joe.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So my question is, what type of relationship you all had that he felt it should be in the cousin's name and not his own kids?
To be bluntly, this is just my opinion. I didn't talk to him about it, but I think we were kind of a disappointment to him because my brothers would call on drugs, and then me not being where he felt that I needed to be. So I guess he felt that we would screw it up.
So what status was the cousin? Was the cousin doing what they needed to do, or were they like not?
I guess he felt the cousin was doing better than we were.
Okay.
Was he? I don't know. All I know is him that he was the LGBTQ. So that's all I knew of him. And
kind of to that.
Yeah, and also to the point, even after that, when we didn't know where if he had life insurance, I was just going to give my father's body to the state and deal with the state. My cousin came in and be like, "Hey, no, I'll pay for it." Okay, fine. Then we find he had the life insurance policy. So I'm like, well, since the life insurance policy in your name, well, you pay for it. You pay for it now and get the money back in the life insurance.
Right.
He didn't feel that way. He called
life insurance is supposed to cover burial.
Yeah, it's supposed to cover it. It should cover burial.
So
that's
that's the coverage.
that's what I thought.
it's literally the conversation that you have before you sign up. But go ahead.
Yeah. So unfortunately, my cousin didn't feel that way, and he wanted me to pay him back.
Okay.
Yeah. I told
I mean, but
him,
at the same
"It'll be a
time,
long
I
time
don't know,
before I
whatever.
pay you back." And that was the last time I talked to my cousin. Matter of fact, I don't even mess with my whole father's side of the family because of that.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of keeping it.
Yeah.
So what was the life insurance policy of substantial amount of money, or it was
It was
just
$15,000.
Oh man,
okay?
That ain't no damn money.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
Yeah.
Not for what's out there. But I was going to say that these
Man,
things kind of
that
derail.
sound like a whole
and
life
then-
insurance. Was that a whole life insurance policy? That sounds like a whole life insurance policy.
That's the minimum. That's the minimum. That's like a Gerber beginner plan.
Right.
It's like the Gerber startup plan.
You know, like some stores, if you work for them, they give you the like some throwaway life insurance policy. That's what my dad had.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
And
going to say that
so-
they do that. The thing about it is that it does require a lot of attention or continuous attention. So I've had my beneficiaries change multiple times. So before I was married, I had my nephew, right? My first nephew as my beneficiary in the event that something happened to me early. Then after I got married, it was my wife. And then after we had our first child, I had to add my child to the life insurance and also to my work insurance and life insurance policy there. So, and that's the thing, right? People are so focused on the wrong things and their priorities are so messed up that the things that require continuous attention that are extremely important to the longevity of your family fall to the wayside because you chasing and worrying about the B-dub.
Yeah.
Crazy.
This is germane to the Black community.
Yeah.
Isn't a lot of our complaints is the fact that a large percentage of our community is focused on the wrong things and not the things that really matter. Like this is like, infectious in our community where why our people are just totally focusing on the wrong shit. That's just to be it is just
fair enough.
And that's just really what it boils down to.
So,
and to
Because
me,
we're living for today. We're not living for tomorrow. I'm living for today. Like,
but see,
my father, my brothers, my oldest brother who passed away, he didn't have life insurance at all. His family thought he did because of the companies he worked for. But the problem was
you could reject life insurance because you have to pay into it. You have to pay into it. So something come out your check every single month, every single pay period for it. So if you're like, oh no, I want that money myself, that little couple of dollars, and a lot of times it's pre-tax dollars, from what I understand.
But that's the thing. If you have a job like that, if you lose the job, you lose the insurance. So that's probably what happened with.
Not all the time.
That's what happened with my brother.
But that's separate. But that's separate. Like the insurances are separate from yourself. I gotta be honest, and I'm gonna just keep it a buck. When it comes to a lot of Black men, and this is no shade to y'all, like whenever like we're signing Black men up for insurance policies, and I'm like, it's gonna come out of your check. Oh no, I don't want that. Are you sure you don't want the insurance? No, I don't want that. You sure you don't want the policy? Like, I mean, mind you, the old lady, she be begging y'all like, hey, you need to get this. You might get sick. Hey, you need to get this. Your kid might need dental. Hey, you need to get this. Something could happen to you. No. That's coming out of my check. Oh no. Like, and then it's crazy when I go to the family practice doctor, it's usually the women bringing the kids there, but the man don't know goddamn shit about the kid or any kind of insurance policy. It's growing. The gap of that kind of issue, I'm finding it's the marginal gap of not just financial literacy, financial accountability. That's the thing that nobody talks about. Financial accountability of, hey, I need to put such money aside for a rainy day. Hey, I need to actually put this money down for dental, for healthcare, for this and that. See, that's why when I hear niggas say we need to get rid of the welfare state, I'm like, you better thank God there is a welfare state. But a lot of you niggas would probably be dead or wouldn't have no health insurance to go inside of the ER. Like, this is why you now got those ER
fast care centers now, because they're finding out like, yo, y'all motherfuckers don't got no insurances, but y'all just trying to skip on the bill. Like,
but then people speak against jobs. They talk about the 9-to-5 ninja. It's so trash or whatever, right? But they don't recognize how expensive healthcare is. Healthcare is extremely expensive. So having a quote unquote 9-to-5 job or working for an organization is not you being a slave. Is you really, especially if you have a family. Like we just had our kid like 7 months ago. We ain't pay a penny because of the insurance that I have from the organization I work for. We didn't pay a dime. And I saw how much it costs. I saw how much insurance paid. Thousands and thousands of dollars for just to talk to any type of physician. It's crazy. So,
but you know the thing about it, Gabe? You know the thing about it? And this is the thing why I called him a narcissist, that ARC. Because that motherfucker had no problem bragging about all that kind of Muku Bunny and all that shit, the elbows he rubbed with. But I'm like, okay, my nigga. But what are you doing now? Like, how are you making money now? Like at some point, you got a woman and a child. Like, are they signing for Medicare? Like, what are they signing up? How are you getting goddamn WIC and all that shit done? You feel me? Like, that stuff costs money. Any man on here who got a child, we know that shit. That shit
didn't even get married until I knew that I could take care of a family.
What about ARC Social Security benefits and survival benefits?
That shit don't go that far. Listen, bro, that shit does not go that far.
We pay into Social Security through our taxes, right? And so we pay in through Social Security when we work for an organization. I literally see it come out of every single check.
Yeah, it just depends on what he was doing. If he was like on the books with stuff, then the
he had to pay taxes.
Yeah, you got to pay taxes.
On what?
I get that, but
if you don't earn nothing, what you gonna pay taxes on?
Like an actual job.
You can't raise no family off the books. Like, y'all, I don't get. Is there no shame for black men when your woman got to stand by a GoFundMe and say, "I'm broke. Can somebody GoFundMe?" Like that. I mean, at some point, see, mind you, these ain't shit Negroes preach that gospel about get a young 20-year-old when your ass is in the dirt .com, and now all of a sudden we're seeing these goddamn sugar baby horror stories happen, and it's the same thing over and over. And I'm like, well, goddamn, like nigga, like you. I mean, no offense, but when we saw that Manosphere meetup, that was like a goddamn senior citizen goddamn meetup or some shit. Like, we already know these niggas are already about to croak. So if that ain't some goddamn reality check, like y'all niggas are dying, bro. Like, if we spit on some of y'all will probably kick the bucket. Like, you got a lot of these dudes who literally having high blood pressure.
So
I don't give a fuck about these niggas. These niggas don't give a fuck about their own life. So why should I give a shit? Like, it is what it is. So they don't care about their family. They don't care about their lifestyle. They damn sure don't care about the community. I mean, we see the reckless. They talk about, oh, y'all out there fucking them hoes and doing X, Y, and Z. Oh, word? Yeah, fuck them kids. Oh, okay, well, fuck you too, niggas and shit. It is what it is. I'm glad you got that shit off. But then when they croak, oh, man, are we not going to show them respect? No, fuck that old nigga. And fuck that ain't shit incel nigga too.
Chill. No, why gotta be him though? Like, why gotta be like, he made bad decisions, but like,
okay. So now we playing repentance. Okay, I'm just saying, hey, y'all ain't gonna get
no. We dealing with the concepts. I didn't know we was dealing.
No, well, here's the concept. The motherfucker didn't give enough energy to actually go get a job to actually make sure his wife and child were good. So that right there is a piece of shit in my book. A lot of these dudes do not. Well, we can use him. Okay, if you want to take it off ARC, let's take it over to Glendon Cameron. What would you want to rate Glendon Cameron on the goddamn narcissist board? Please tell me that one.
Lord.
Yeah, I'm going there. I'm bringing fire and brimstone tonight. What y'all want to give Glendon Cameron?
Glendon Cameron, you screwing white hoes and mother?
No, he ain't just screw white hoes. Oh, he was doing worse than that. He didn't give a damn. He was doing some horrible shit. But
I don't think he had a family though, did he?
No, he didn't have a family, but he said, you know what? I could have been R. Kelly. But I knew when to get out the game. And then he tells a story.
I think it's actually responsible of dudes like Glendon Cameron to not have Glenn and Cameron, but what's the other dude that passed? Some of these dudes that passed,
David
it's
Carroll.
responsible for them to not David Carroll, for them to not start families
David Carroll has
because they
kids.
can't support them. Oh, David
Carroll
had
has
kids.
David Carroll has kids.
Never mind.
Yeah, but he did all, instead of him wasting his time texting and stalking Crystal and Carol, that he should have made sure his family. This is as religiously as he went after a married woman. You would think he would have his finances and everything in order. This man drew Social Security, and he wait. This is supposed to be. Hold on, isn't that an entitlement by certain political operatives deemed as an entitlement? This man came off as being one of the most conservative hacks that you could find on YouTube, and the whole time he was living off the government. Make that make sense.
Rest in peace, David Carroll.
There are people right now, Vision, what's the name? The arsonists and all these other guys they are still drinking the Kool-Aid after a man who basically didn't make more than maybe $9,000 or $10,000 a year, living with his sister and brother-in-law and so forth. But you want to talk about black women and what they should be doing, and you didn't qualify to get any woman, and you want to go running behind a married woman? Like wait a minute. Let's put the puzzle together. This man, let's just look at the resume. I don't know what he did prior to getting hurt or whatever or sick. This man was on Social Security benefits. He was unable to take care of himself. He was dependent on his family.
Oh, he was on welfare.
Yeah, he's on Social Security. He had Social Security benefits. He is drawing SSI, fixed income.
But they go at black women for being on welfare. But
exactly.
They be on welfare.
That don't count. That don't count. It's the women's fault. That don't count. That's the women's fault.
He had no retirement, no pension, nothing, no 401k, no 401b, whatever.
Okay.
He didn't even have he had no investments.
Yeah.
All he had was a YouTube channel. And that's
an income. That's an income.
That's the reason he was on YouTube in the first place, because he needed income. And he made, I don't know, I'd say he made a nice chunk of change off of YouTube.
And
I'm sure.
The black incels supported him very strongly. They support a lot of their ministers and prophets. They support them a lot. I learned that the incel church is full of ministers and deacons. So yeah, they have an abundance of them.
There's nothing consistent. Yeah. There's nothing that they can they can say that this is how much I'm going to be receiving around this time period, and that here I can use this as an investment. This is a stream of income. It's pretty much just like however people feel. It might be tax time, or it might be every other Friday, or it's nothing that they can do anything with.
David Carroll spoke as if he was the most eligible black man on earth towards not only the black
he was eligible. He was.
He spoke as if his life reflected that he had the right to speak on the black, because he called black
like
people monkeys.
Too.
He called people monkeys.
He called us monkeys.
And all this other stuff. And you couldn't even buy a loaf of bread for yourself. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. And then you chase behind a woman that didn't want you for like 5 years.
A swirler. Oh, damn.
and yeah, she may have entertained it, but seriously speaking, she didn't. But you want to criticize the black community and black women in general. See, this is what I got an issue with. Like, how can your life have so many pieces of the puzzle missing, greatly flawed, but you want to speak on other people like you had everything together? And his real life was not reflective of his YouTube persona. He was living a lie on social media. and people ate it up. There are people right now like what's his name? What is it? The village arsonist and some of these other guys, particularly him, because I've seen him get into heated debates about David Carroll. Heated debates about David Carroll. Yeah. I seen people rest in peace. David Carroll was one of our greatest intellectuals of our sector. I learned so much. I've seen young men talk about like to me, it was almost frightening because I could have sworn they were talking about BGS Iltmore, and they were actually talking about this. I'm just saying. This is how people spoke of Derek.
You're not a level 14 master. Please keep his name out your mouth, sir. I'm just letting you know. You're not a level.
I have.
That's another bad example.
Yeah, but
Gabe, nothing out from you. Nothing from you.
like David, I'm sitting here trying to figure out, like, you know, what was the journey that led some of these people to being on YouTube? Because that journey that led you to desperation, that you needed to create an income for yourself so you can sit here and spew hate and ignorance as a means of making money. that's what it's looking like.
But you gotta understand, Deidre, most niggas come here is to entertain and make some form of money. If you're talking things that is relevant, importance, some productive, most likely, your content's not on fuckery, you're not gonna make shit on here. Especially how they design their algorithms of AI and know who's put out the content. Fuckery sells. This is when people come and log on to their YouTube, they come here majority to get entertainment. That's it. If you're not entertained enough, you'll know when you bust a video or a live stream, you see less than under 20 people watch your shit. That's where you're at. You're not entertaining.
Damn.
But those that find things that's appealing, degenerate language, degenerate behavior, and things that's really outlandish that will keep your attention span greater than a minute or two, you'll see the chat room flooded of 50 to even on a good day 200 people on certain channels that are small or even mediocre in subscriber counts. That's how it works. If you're not that, then you're not gonna get nowhere. So they know how this thing works. And what's the best way of entertaining to get niggas to watch and interact? You talk about this community. David Carroll talked very heavily about this community. He talks about the black bitch, and he talked about these niggas. Even to the point where you call them monkeys and all that stuff, like what Kristen Carroll said. Shout out to say that. David Carroll already said that in his own channel multiple times. So when he died, yeah, to those that didn't resonate, they said, yeah, he's so intelligent. He's that. No, he's just a nigga that was a struggle dude that barely get by. Because when he died, what happened to all the money he was raising to have his website? That never did happen. Because it don't cost no $100,000 or more just to get a website running. I could be wrong. Can anybody educate me? How much cost?
No, I don't think that much.
Gabe,
you probably need probably 3,000, like three or 4,000.
So why does Manny raise grow over $100,000 more just to? I'll tell you why. Because he's using that to get by. No website I know, even today with the technology in front of us, it's easy to set up your own little website now than it was 15 years ago. I mean, you heard what I said, Gabe? I don't know if you're there. I know you took yourself off mic for a second.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Does it cost a lot of money, Gabe, to start a website today, Gabe? Because you,
nope.
Nope. So
I told you.
Yeah,
I just told you.
There you go. So that answers your question. You're donating because you give him to keep his livelihood up in order. Now I heard a rumor they said that when he died that no one asked for no GoFundMe and stuff. And I said, well, they don't have to ask for it if he was actually buried. Because no one said anything about how he they handled the funeral arrangements. Have you? Because he's well known in the space, right? I thought so. And trust me, I cover David Carroll for content use only because I do find certain content that was entertaining and some things that pretty much, if you really listen closely, yeah, he was spot on certain things, but everything else he said out of his mouth was blah 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 blah. And that's the honest truth. And I'm not no favorite of man. Let's keep it real. I'm not sure why niggas are favorite to a lot of men. They're never gonna meet in person in life. There's a digital space.
Right.
Like I said, I think the thing about it is this, and when it comes to a lot of this stuff, it's a lot of disattachment from reality. I know some of y'all feel about BGS. I know some of y'all feel about a lot of these people, and I got no issue with a lot of these dudes. But some people, y'all are telling these young boys, and y'all gonna get them fucked up. Y'all gonna get a lot of black people fucked up. And first of all, ain't that many goddamn not that many 6-figure black men running around on no damn YouTube. Y'all gotta stop saying that shit, man. Like, ain't no way y'all saying that, but then y'all are struggling goddamn in political agency or in like local elections or some shit, or somehow a woman getting child support is hurting you. Like, y'all killing me with these conversations. Like, it's just not making no damn sense, man. Like, if that's the case, y'all would have been left off and go start at an XM radio station and got the fuck off of YouTube. If y'all really
talking
was
about
making
BGS, right? That's who it is. That's
I
exactly
knew
who.
you was waiting for that game. You was waiting for that game. Just get it out, you sick fuck. Get it out your system.
I'm just saying the shoe fits. Exactly what you're talking about is the shoe.
Stop it. He's a chemist.
You talking about 4-5 years, right?
He's a chemist and he's a doctor.
Yep.
Yeah. And
he's
he
a
also
chemist. He brought all the doctors. He bring all the doctors to the yard.
Yeah. Yep. And he saved ours. He's saving souls. So
I think he's a prime example of another narcissist, somebody who can't admit when they're wrong.
Yeah, why can't you just be accepting of him?
That's all I'm saying.
Gabe, he made a way for you to be in the space.
So did he?
Yes.
Did he? I didn't know him. Only person I knew was Ocean. I didn't know BGS existed until I used to see him reviewing. Actually, I found out about BGS through my wife. And you know why? Because he used to review that Insecure show.
Yeah, exactly.
I do remember that. Damn, y'all a blast from the past. Yo,
that's where he got his. That's where he got his notoriety from.
Yeah, he actually did. He actually did pretty good. I mean, I think the production was real good. I didn't agree with some of the stuff that he stated, but a lot of women actually listened to him give a breakdown of those characters. They did.
Yeah, that's how I found out about BGS, through my wife, because she was like, "Oh, who is this? It's this guy that's reviewing Insecure with this grandpa voice." I'm like, "Let me listen." That's how I found out about BGS.
You know, I met him when I was doing movie reviews. Because I used to do movie reviews, and I met him when he was doing but I've seen him before, but I didn't know who the hell he was. I was like, hey, this guy, this James Earl Jones or something, nigga? Who's this guy? And after that, then they're like, oh yeah, that's BGS. I said, I don't know who he is. And you know, you had that intro like, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I thought he did intros to like, I just like the intros to shows and movies. But that's when we did the Joker movie. But yeah, the other thing I don't agree with. A lot of mentally damaged dudes, and I work. And is that a thing where they narcissists manipulate people? Because
that is a trait. Exploitation, manipulation. That is part of the cluster B personality syndrome.
What if they don't know that they're doing it? What if they don't know that they're doing it?
The fact is that they are aware that they're doing it.
They don't know their powers. They don't know. They don't know what they're doing.
They intentionally exploit for their own personal gain. They know exactly what they're doing.
I don't think he's exploiting. I just think he's trying to help in his own type of way. He just doesn't know it either. I don't know how to get people out of this goddamn situation. I don't know. I be trying to find a way for some of y'all niggas, like
Stop coming online and telling people that y'all fucked up. I can't say angry man. Can we call angry man a narcissist? No, I don't know if we can call that nigga. We don't know what to call it.
Damn. Okay. So give an example of why.
Damn,
You
like,
just
yeah.
can't give a blatant make a blanket
Damn,
statement.
well,
Well, I think that so angry man can never accept criticism
Oh,
about
no, he
anything
can't.
that he says or does. Everything, like, and maybe it's not narcissism, maybe it's a different type of character flaw, but it's like anything that you say that might make him look different than the light that he wants to be seen in, then you're not. Like, you his you his enemy, or you hating on him.
So basically what you're saying, again, his real life is lackluster, one of no importance. However, his YouTube persona is somewhat in the direct opposite of that, because he is deemed at some level of importance and notoriety as opposed to his real life. So there's an internal conflict versus online versus reality.
I think a lot of these dudes watch anime, Marvel, DC, and they try to emulate those characters on YouTube. They try to create an avatar of themselves that isn't the reality. Like they like, even these examples that they give, everything is shrouded in some type of comic book story or hero or something that they are not. Like that they don't even have a power to bring any of those realities to the forefront.
The issue that I have with the to me childish comparisons of real life events and living vicariously through these characters, to me, it's actually one of the signs of incel-like behavior, which is a deterrent from being socially able to interact with the people you want to really interact with. So you drown yourself in fantasy instead of living in reality.
Yeah.
And a lot of incels love to live in fantasy.
Maybe it just doesn't hurt as much when you're in the fantasy world. But
it's not reality though.
We all have ways that we cope with whatever we're going through. So
it's a defense mechanism. You're repressing your feelings and thoughts instead of trying to embrace them. And if it needs to change, you do the work to change it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, no, like I've dealt with similar things, D-Darrell, like with certain family members and being separated, or like those relationship dynamics changing over time and me not being okay with it. I would at times try to cope by like acting like it didn't really bother me until I just recognized that, hey, maybe we've grown apart, or maybe just the situation isn't what I desire it for it to be, and it's causing me some internal conflict. Like, I had to recognize it and recognize that the way that I'm dealing with it isn't the way that's healthy.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't healthy. It's like I would internalize little stuff that they do or little stuff that they say on social media. Like somebody would be like, I don't know, like, I love this person and I love my family, and I stay up with all my family. And I'm like, so you don't stay up with me, but you say you love all your family. Like,
right.
You know, so I'll take that as a jab at me, even though I never communicated that with that family member, or I never really dealt with it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So Anton X, the fantasy is an escape from a horrific or tragic reality. Well, fantasy doesn't cure a horrific or tragic reality.
Right.
Therefore, you're actually working against yourself. The fantasy in itself is something we coin as a thinking error. It's your thought process is not about correcting or learning effective ways to cope. It's about basically avoidance Avoidance doesn't change the situation. Avoidance only keeps the reality as it is.
See, and that's another piece, right? That's that anti. They don't deal with the red pill is supposed to expose the truth. They
But they
can't
don't
even
deal with
expose
it.
the truth within themselves. They can't even deal with the truth within themselves.
That's the thing about it, bro. Like I said, like this is why I don't. Y'all, I really have a disgust of when people say that pill theory, like I'm red pill. I don't know. Okay, another menstrual addict, another crack addict,
Yeah.
because listen, man, black.
I just
Y'all,
take
we
them at
gotta
what they
have balance.
say. I just evaluate them based
I
based
hear
on
you. I hear you.
what
But
they say it is. I don't subscribe to it, but
okay.
I don't. But yeah,
No, I hear you. I hear you with that. But even after a while, for a lot of us who are like tangible in reality, we're starting to realize that they're getting further and further from reality, or like, oh, you took a woman out on a date? That's that simp shit. And I'm like, okay, man, like, come on, bro. Like, what's going on in your life, man? Like, what's really
like you a
happening?
simp because you're married and you have a family.
Oh
Yeah.
man, let's not talk about
It was a
that.
couple years ago. They were saying you tricking if you married. You tricking on your wife.
But see, this is the hypocrisy. You're tricking if you have a family or you or a stepdad or whatever, but you want to use talking points of why black women are not married and why black men. This makes no sense.
The environment, why the environment is so toxic, and they say that the family structure is important to a stable economy and a stable social structure. But yet you say if you have made a family, then you're a simp. Like what?
It makes no sense. And it's just illogical, and it is just not applicable to real life. And my position, one of the reasons why I stopped debating and stopped going on some of these panels in certain spaces is because number one, they don't like the fact of my background, and they understand that I think and I have a knowledge base on a lot of the stuff that they claim that they know and they don't. But the second thing is that when faced with the truth, they'll begin to move the goalposts, try to discredit the training and education I have, and then it just flat out just be offensive. And like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, you're gonna try to tell me about something that I see and treat every day, relationships and our community, people, and you read one article and you think you know more than me on something that I've been practicing for over 15 years. This is ridiculous. Like, I tried to teach them how to read research and how to understand what an abstract is. I tried to help them understand how do you read research. Understand
how you verify. I think you also did like a verifying credible sources.
Yes, I told them that's in the discussion and in the references. The references are reflective of what is in the research. You're going to see sightings and quotations and things of that sort. That you may say a statement or two, and then it's going to have in parentheses or whatever the actual citing book, the source that they got it from. That stuff is just not coming from anywhere. The references is reflective of what is in the research. But I tried to help them understand that there's like when you're doing research, that there's a research style of collecting the data. If your data collection is messed up, the results are going to be messed up.
Right.
And you cannot look at raw percentages and think that tells it all, because the raw percentages is reflective of the data collection.
Man, a couple years ago, Bernard Riley was just running with them percentages, without context.
And just percentage. Well, excuse me. 75% says this, and I'm like, yeah, but the sample size was only 200.
There we go.
That's
and it was back in 2010.
Yeah, and it's not even recent research.
And there's been an updated study on the same subject that says different. Like
and this was, and I'm glad you brought that up because about the obsolete research. I tried to explain. I said, listen, I don't really read research that's over 2 years old because in my profession, that's what we practice. Now we do look back at other research and look at how it has the trends that may have occurred over time. Not to say that the research is not legitimate, but the most recent research is going to be, to me, the most credible research. So when I debated Little Big Nate about abortion, he used 2016 research. This was back in 21, and I used 2019.
Right.
And I told him the research you have is absolute research. This debate is lost alone on the fact that your research is not more credible than mine. No, if we did a debate at any reputable educational institution, you would have automatically disqualified yourself on that alone.
Right.
But no, it's infinitesimal. That's new research. That research it has to be. I'm like, brother, it's obvious why you dropped out of college.
Yeah,
it's obvious. It's obvious because you don't understand how this works, and nobody is going to follow. That's just like you in tech. I mean, I understand. There's so many trends and improvements. Like a lot of the books that you probably were trained in 2 years is obsolete. So what are we going to do? Focus on the obsolete research versus what's currently going on? Like, this makes no sense.
Right.
Like, and then in 2 years, the research that you got now, they have moved past it, and that information is obsolete. So
that's actually one of the main reasons why I love being a consultant, because a lot of times people will reference things from the past, and I'm like, I'm customer facing. I'm always within these environments, these tech environments. So I'm seeing what the current challenges, what the current issues, what's currently happening within the tech sphere, not what was happening 10, 15, 20 years ago.
It's irrelevant.
Like people, it's some tech people in this space who still referencing very old material. They don't have up-to-date skills. They don't have up-to-date knowledge, but they act like they these oracles. Like BGS covering artificial intelligence is just laughable. I'm sorry.
He has no training. No training.
No. But you see, the Black Brain Trust has been covering this the same time, or probably a little sooner, when they even came onto the YouTube thing with information.
All the Black Brain Trust does is read articles. They don't have practical experience in the field. They read articles. I'm sorry, but that's all I've seen.
Somebody else actually. Now, I don't have issues with the Black Brain Trust and the other guy that's there because somebody else, another YouTuber that's in tech that teaches classes, he said something very similar a couple years ago, and he actually teaches it, and he's doing very well on YouTube. And he actually said some of the same things that you just stated, Gabe. When we talked about it, he said that he listened to him, and he said something very similar about the articles and the fact that it's some of the stuff was not practical or something on the lines of that, as far as what's currently going on versus what you're reading. Huh?
He's choosing not to say.
I don't want to say his name.
No, put it back chat. I'll look him up. Put him back chat, please. Back chat.
Yeah, but he said the same thing, in regards to them, and I was like, I mean, to me, I was looking at like they sound like they know. I mean, I think they are intelligent. Now, whether or not, as far as from a tech standpoint, for people that actually work the industry, I don't know, because I'm not qualified to make that assessment because I'm not in tech. So I just,
somebody do came and use OBS.
I don't want to blow the spot up, but it's to the point, D-Darrell, that you need relevant, recent, credible sources in order to make your points, not things that are outdated and very loosely researched in order to make your points about Black women, tech, or any subject matter.
Right.
That's the only thing I'm trying to drive here. I don't want.
I just look at it simply. I'm just looking at it simply like this. I hear a lot of mofos in tech, but they struggle to work OBS. I hear a lot of people are 6-figure, but yet It's a lot of these things are not adding up. It's like somebody saying
Or
that they
even
have a
StreamYard.
degree. Yeah, that too. I mean, it's a lot of things that are just not adding up. People who are so called, they run businesses and houses, but they do like 9 to 10 hour streams and shit. And I'm like, when do you get time to? And mind you, like for those of us who understand what it takes to manage these property, there's work you have to do. Like you can't just always sit on your ass. But
Right.
however, hey, I don't know. I'm stupid to this stuff. There's a lot of inconsistencies of things happening. I never hear people talk about like politics. Like when they talk about politics, it usually goes to child support, what that black bitch is getting. Which I'm like, damn, dude, I didn't hear you talk about anything about like, like pay issues or health care or any, like actual things that somebody would like finances or a job or career would actually care about. It's never those type of structured conversations. And like again, it's a lot of selfish stuff that goes on now. For people who say uh we need more men in the family or in the home, but yet fuck them kids. However, they'll play stepdaddy online, which is very weird to me. I've never seen so many digital stepfathers in my life. But I am very happy to see that the digital stepfathers. So I mean, there's an adoption agency for every black man online that will adopt these boys and get them to their proper home. So I am
Or
happy to
even
see that.
promoting PhDs and then also calling people with education lames.
Yes,
Like
which
that's a
to me
contradiction
that's
there.
like an oxymoron statement. What is lame about getting an education? Like, I expect somebody illiterate to make that type of
Right.
statement. What's up,
Right.
Anton? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, Jarrell? What's going on, fellas?
What's up?
Hey, how's it going, Anton?
Doing good, doing good. Tired, but I'm still here. I mean, I was listening to the conversation earlier in the discussion, and it's like it's funny, and it goes, D. Jarrell, it goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. How you have some people that are living hypocrisies. They're saying one thing and doing the total opposite. How am I supposed to take you serious if you're not practicing what you preach?
Right.
And the other thing that kills me when on the topic you talk about narcissism, they crave attention. They feel like they have to be the center of attention. They feel like the world has to revolve around them, and they'll do whatever it takes to draw you in some way, shape, or form. They'll put things out that people want to hear and think, "Oh, wow, I like what this person had to say. Let me listen to what he has to say," and probably don't know a damn thing of what he is talking about. It's like it's almost like the spider find ways to attract the flies to the web. That's what they do, and they'll say something or anything to make themselves sound intelligent, but yet they don't know shit from shine and their asses from their elbows.
Right.
So it's just. Mm, how can I put it? Damn. How can I put it? How can I put it? It's like, why should I take you serious if you got drama and nonsense? How are you going to help me overcome my drama if your drama is worse than mine? I mean, that's one way I can put it right there in that aspect. And it just makes no sense. And they find a way to capitalize on it too. And that's the biggest shocker even more. Like, they find a way to get paid at the same time they're putting out nonsense and bullshit. But when someone's trying to put something out that's legitimate, no one wants to take that person serious. And it's like, the fuck, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just, go ahead, Gabe. You were about to say something?
No, that was Bro Speaks, I think.
Oh,
Well,
so
yeah, because if
you
you put out something that's real and truthful, it takes away the illusion, and which again that takes away from their money because as long as these guys are in that delusional state where it's blame women. I gotta get this woman under control, you know, they're always gonna have an audience for that. But you take that away, you taking away their money, and you taking away their notoriety because if if they feel that their message ain't worth it, nobody's gonna listen to them no more. So
I think one of the issues, and it's like a goddamn herpes to me, is I
Cool.
hear a lot of
Oh,
men going around saying modern woman, and I always ask the question, so what are you? You know, like if she's a modern woman, then what would that make you? Ain't like you was born in a log cabin. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like they keep saying this modern woman is the devil, but a lot of men, you are modern men. I don't know why some of them don't understand that or get that concept of, you know, life, that y'all are modern men. Like, I mean, you do have the same laws and stuff you can apply for, or, you know, y'all say, well, we can't work with that black woman. She's the devil, or, you know, and I'm like, dude, like, I don't get it. Like, other groups of men are using their women. Actually, not you, just using. They're working along with them. Like they do work inside of your job, or like the areas where you're at. It's like hate porn. It's like hate porn for a lot of people, and it's not very realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like talking about, well, when I get married, I want my woman to quit, and we live off of my or just our income. And I'm like, what? Or, you know, her education isn't worth anything. Nobody cares about that. Like, y'all got to stop saying that. Y'all
yes, it
really need
is.
to stop saying. Like,
Yes, it is.
I know, Gabe. Like, but I'm saying nobody. Listen, bro. Y'all need to go to some graduations. Nobody say, "Oh, well, you women, I don't know why y'all graduating. Y'all education ain't worth nothing when you get with a man." Like, nobody's saying that dumb, goofy shit. Nobody's going around
Exactly.
saying that. I
I
don't
mean,
hear no group
two quick
telling their
two
women.
quick points even on that, right? Because I think that what happens, a lot of these dudes that say a women's education doesn't matter are the same dudes who might feel inferior to women with certain types of education levels.
They're
Uh,
intimidated. That's what it is, Gabe.
they're intimidated. And the thing about it that's goofy about it is that one thing is that when you look at the practicality of it, having a woman who has an education who is able to earn a decent income adds to the family income pool. So
Right.
Right.
more
Exactly.
salaries is more for the family. And number two,
Exactly.
also look at the furtherance of your family. For your children, don't you want your wife to have a certain level of education where she can pass on to the children? She can promote going further in educational endeavors. I mean, a lot of
Right.
times
Exactly.
with these women that and this isn't all women from different countries, but a lot of times these women from different countries have no idea of the educational system and what a child needs to do in order to go beyond what is the necessary or what is the average standards of education in America. So these dudes want to drag these women over here from a different country, marry them, and then raise kids where she can't really assist with their educational development. So a woman who has education can positively benefit to a child's education here in America. So those are just
Exactly.
two things, man. It's just
Exactly.
so
I
yes,
mean,
I would say a woman's education is important. I just leave it there. Yep.
my thing about it, like for example, I'm going to pick it back on what you just said, Gabe. Right now, like I've been at the same job for over 25 years. I met my wife at the job. We've been together for 18 years, and this
That's good.
August we've been married for 14 years. And right now, she's looking into a possible career change. We
Mhm.
sat down, we talked about it. She researched it. I read about it as well, and she's seriously all about it. And I was like, sure, go ahead. Let's knock this out. Let's see what happens. If it works, great. If it
Yeah.
don't, you know what? At least you gave it a shot.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what the problem is that you don't have couples that are dream makers.
Yeah.
And I remember reading this in a book. Like there are three types of people. You got dream makers, dream takers, and dream fakers. The dream fakers are the ones that say they're going to be there, and then when shit goes wrong, they're nowhere to be found. Dream
Hmm.
takers are the ones that are always going to be the negative, always the pessimist, always the ones that don't think that it's going to work, and they'll find a way to let you know, nah, don't do this. This ain't going to work because of their insecurity, and they're afraid of, damn, if this person accomplishes it, what does that say about me? And then you got the
Mm.
dream makers who are Yeah, go ahead, doing everything else. If it works, that's great. If not, you know what? I'm still proud of you. You still went out there. You still took your chance.
Right.
Let's come up with a new plan, and we'll keep going forward. And that, I think, is the problem that's happening in a lot of these, and why a good number of relationships aren't working, is somebody feels like they have to be the lead and someone has to fall behind. Nah.
Yes, I agree. Sorry, go ahead. I'm just agreeing.
My bad.
No.
My thing about it, find your dream maker. And that's the one thing I tell a lot of young couples. Be each other's dream maker. Be each other's teammate. Be each other's partner. And not just loving partner, not just romantic partner, but business partner as well. Because here's the thing that people forget. If my wife succeeds, my family succeeds.
100%.
If I succeed, my family succeeds. If my wife and myself succeed, our family succeeds even more.
See, and that's what they try to do. They try to plug the gender war into every type of interaction between black men and black women.
It's not necessary. And that's the thing. And that's necessary. Here's the fucked up thing we forget. Black women have been working in this country long before women had the right to vote. Mm-hmm. Black men have already been working in this country longer before they had the right to vote. Longer. And I'm talking about on the plantation. I'm talking about in the massa house. Black women have already been putting in their weight. Black men too. Why we have this divide, I have no idea. I really don't get it.
It's about control. It's control, man.
A lot of these dudes are intimidated by black women's success because they haven't succeeded in things in their own lives. You pull out an Obsidian, you pull out a BGS, you pull out any of these dudes, they've had medial success at best. They're a lot of times average at best in their own aspirations. So when they look at women who have gone beyond, way beyond anything that they've ever done, they see it as a threat. So then they propose it to everybody around to say these black women that going doing this. They in HR, they keeping us out of jobs, and they managers, and they firing black men. And
they just intimidate.
Let me say something to that. Yeah. Man, let me say this. I have obtained now. I in my interaction with black women in HR, particularly in my field, contracting with government agencies. I'm going to say nearly half of the government contracts that I've ever received was due to the insight and help of black women that worked in government agencies.
Uh-oh.
So
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Because I'm going to say 75 to 80%, particularly when we're talking about like the Department of Family Protective Services, the work source type services and disability services. 9 times out of 10, a lot of those supervisors, the directors, the entry level professionals, they're black women. They're young, they're college educated, anywhere between 25 to 50-year-old black women working majority in those positions. And I'm in Texas.
They're the ones with the bachelor's degree. They're the ones with the masters, the MBA, the CPAs, and everything else. My sister went through that type of nonsense working for a particular company. I'm not going to name the company. And she ran into some stuff because of that. And I remember one time we sat down and having lunch and we were talking about it. She was dealing with some issues that were going on that was work related. She was given assignments to do a job, but she wasn't being told what to do or how to do it. And it seemed, and when she was talking about all the stuff that was going on, I told my sister, like, sis, you got set up to fail from the word go. And she was just like, thank you. Somebody that finally understands what I'm talking about. And my sister, I'm going to sing my sister's accolades. All right. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to sing my sister's accolades. All right. My sister graduated with honors in high school. She was in the who's who of American high school students her last 2 years of high school. She went on to college. She was the student manager of a Division I basketball team while in college. Got a business degree in 92. Has a second degree black belt in Taekwondo. Fought for the U.S. national team in World Cup events. Had opportunities to compete for the national team at the Olympic level. Fought at the World Championships. Fought at the Olympic Festival. Went back to school. Got her MBA at a very prestigious university in my home state in New Jersey. You can figure it out from there. Got a chance to study abroad in the Netherlands for a year right after our grandmother died. Came back, lived in Paris for 6 years. Worked for a couple of jobs there, and then came back stateside about a little over a decade or so ago. Worked a couple other jobs here and there. And the reason why she's always had times difficulty trying to find a position is because when they see what she has on her resume, jokers be looking like, oh shit. Like, it's one thing for her to be a woman to have this accomplishment, but for her to be a black woman to have these accomplishments, jokers can't handle it. Jokers can't accept it. That's what it is. And some people may feel like, oh man, you just no. I'm not flossing. That's real. It's just what it is. If you can't handle it, that's a you problem. Plain and simple.
I just found this little picture of me and my wife like the same year, kind of towards a success story, right? We are not in competition with one another. If you see my avatar, I just changed it over to us. We both graduated with our masters in the same year, right? We actually moved because I had started working a remote tech job. And after that, she was applying to master's programs. I was already in mine, and I kind of slowed down just a little bit to give us room to move and just to have a bit more flexibility in our schedule. We moved to a different state so she could pursue her master's. She did not work for almost 2.5 years to pursue her master's degree. She's a CRNA, so a certified nurse anesthetist, right? She couldn't work any of that time. We moved. She did not work. and she went ahead and pursued her degree, and we were able to both get our masters in the same exact year. We are not in competition with one another. We are not in competition with one another.
Exactly.
But the only thing, there we go, like the dream makers, right? We made our dream. I supported her dream, and she supports my dreams. So kind of to your point, boom, right? I just wanted to kind of give a little visualization of what that has been for me in my life. So just wanted to say that.
Hey, it goes back to what James Baldwin says. Dreams are the seedlings to reality. And that's the thing people need to understand. You got to lay that foundation. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be that simple. It's not going to be that easy. You got to lay that foundation, and you got to work together through the highs and the lows and the peaks and the valleys. All right? That's the thing people don't understand. Like, you have to put in that work. And you got to stick to the plan. And if it's not working, okay, you come with a plan B. And then you stick to the plan and you still keep going. That's the thing people don't realize. You're going to have those tough points. You're going to have those potholes. You're going to have those missteps. You're going to have those side sets. It happens. It's no big deal. It don't make you any less of a man or a woman. It just makes you a person. This shit happens. As long as you get back on track, that's all that matters. All you got to do is follow these 3 words. Charlie fucking Mike. Continue the fucking mission and just keep moving forward and drive on. That's the thing that kills me. People aren't willing to work together. And it kills me that some brothers are intimidated by sisters like that. I really don't understand why. If you are that insecure and that uncomfortable about a woman that's successful, that's a youth problem, bro. And how I learned to never be uncomfortable that way. My parents been married for 53 years. And there was a time when my mother is a retired nurse. My dad had his own business. And there was a period of time where my father was making a good amount of money and my mother was already making a good amount of money. At one point, things started to slow down where my dad was, and my mother made more money than my dad. My mother never made an issue out of it, never threw it in his face, never emasculated him, never feel like he was less of a man. Always was there for him, always made sure that she had his back, and he was there for her as well. And they had their issues and they had their problems. Don't get me wrong. But they've been together for the last 53 years, happily married for 53 years.
Right.
And both of them are retired, and that's what it's all about. And I learned from both my parents to never be intimidated about what your partner is able to do. Always see your partner, your spouse, as an asset, never a liability.
Right. You know, that vetting process, right? Because I would say that there have been women in my life who have been romantically interested in me, who, man, I knew this girl who was she had a PhD in chemical engineering. So I was still pursuing my bachelor's degree. She was extremely interested in me, right? She would at times try to throw it in my face as if she was like, if we would be talking about something else, right? Like random stuff. She would try to throw it in my stuff. She was like, "Oh, have you even gotten a master's yet?" I'm like, all right. I see where this is going. She would use it as a point of contention between us. That's in my vetting process. That was somebody who I could not move forward with. Right. I couldn't move forward with her. But just like you said, when you find that one, right, that individual who you can move forward with, who's not throwing their education in your face or their successes in your face, that's somebody who you invest with.
Exactly. Right? I put it like this. My brother, I have a younger brother also. He got his degree. He's now going back. He went back to school into a different specialty, got his associates in that. Now he's going back to school to get his master's in what he got originally from his bachelor's when he graduated from college 20 years ago. Both my brother and sister have what I want, and that's a college degree. But I got what my brother and sister want, and that's job stability and tenure. So it is what it is. And the reason why I didn't finish school, I had some academic issues. I had some dealing with some issues. Later on, eventually, I found out why I struggled in school. I have ADHD. I have cognitive learning disabilities. I have basically a blending of dyspraxia, dysgraphia, and dyslexia. That was the reason why I've struggled in college. It's not because I don't want to do the work. It's because I didn't find out until I was 27, 28 years old that this is why I was struggling in school. This is why I got expelled from high school. This is why I scored low on my SATs. My wife is the oldest of 10. She didn't finish college because her mom put too much on her in raising her siblings. And every time my wife wanted to go back to school when my mother-in-law was alive, I encouraged her and I pushed her to go. But my mother-in-law made things so difficult that my wife had to drop out a few times. My mother-in-law has long passed away, and my wife has talked about wanting to go back to school. And basically, that's our motivation now is we both want to go back to school because we realize we waited too long. And for her, she's now taking advantage of opportunities she never had a chance to take advantage of before. And for me, I have to get my evaluation updated. And I told my wife, I'm not going back to school until I have an actual plan or I'm at a school that has a very good academic support system that's going to give me the tools that I need to go back to school to get my degree. And the reason why I'm very motivated, I've always been motivated to go back to college to get my degree. And one of the main reasons why I'm motivated is I saw over the weekend, I just saw my niece graduate and get her associate's degree from junior college. And now she's going to insert big name school in my home state starting in the fall. And that's my motivation. And that's always been my motivation I want to go back to school to get my degree. And that's what it's all about. Like, I know why I have issues, but as soon as I'm able to find someone that's going to help me with this, then I'm going to get the ball rolling. I mean, that's the best way I can put it.
Okay.
Got it.
Well, you just gotta be consistent, pursue your goals, and we wish you the best in that journey.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, man, that gender war is not.
It's not necessary. That gender war is not necessary. Gender war is not necessary.
Man, let me say this, man, and this is one of the biggest things that I used to. This is something that what led me to stop having to go back and forth with these people is I would get on a panel and we talk about relationship stuff, this black woman didn't do this and that. And I try to, no matter how much you try to tell them the truth, there's always a question and a fight of the truth. Then when I go into my professional realm, I say the same information and everything just goes seamlessly and there's positive results. And the only pushback I've ever gotten was when I'm talking to these Negroes and they come up with all these convoluted ass. And I'm saying, seriously, I mean, I could be in a situation, I go to a conference, training, talk among colleagues. We be talking about some of the same issues. I know for a fact when I've been contracted with CPS or the Department of Family Protective Services, or even I even contract with the criminal justice system, and we talk about some of the same stuff. Matter of fact, remember the what was the guy that got killed in Georgia? He was running after those white men saw him walking in the
Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah,
Arbery.
Man, I had a discussion. A similar situation happened in Texas. It was something similar, but the person didn't die, but it happened in Texas. And I was with the criminal justice department discussing some things, and something happened to a guy, and they wanted me to counsel the family and all that kind of stuff. And I said almost the identical stuff, the same things, and how I would approach things, what happened to this organization, and everybody was open and no questions. Hey, that makes sense. How did you know that's a great idea, blah, blah, blah. You say the same thing with a similar situation that happened, and you arguing with them about Ahmaud Arbery. These Negroes act like I just stated the most horrible. And I'm like, wait a minute, this don't make sense. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, this shit is not applicable to real life, nor are the fact that these people thinking at a level that they shouldn't even be questioning me in the first place. Because if people in real life who seek my expertise are willing to be open and listen and understand the value, why are you not understanding the value? It's the same information coming from the same person. Why is it that you respond different? That's not a reflection of me. That's a reflection of you. And I'm like, I just couldn't deal with, man. They just come up with all of these crazy ideas, and it doesn't make sense. And you don't know what you're talking about. And this, and I'm like, yes, I do know what I'm talking about. Like, it's no use of fighting. Just you can't argue amongst fools. That's what I learned.
You have to show and prove, really. You just have to just live your life, have your positive results, and call it a day. Maybe they'll learn.
And you know what the biggest problem? They actually think that they think the average black man has the same problem.
Nope.
No, they don't.
No.
They actually think, and I'm saying average, I ain't say below average. They actually think the average black guy has the same problems as them.
Nope.
Nah.
They truly
the average
believe
black guy is now on YouTube complaining about women like that.
Facts.
The average black
think
guy
most
is trying to worry about how I'm gonna get money in my pocket.
Right.
Average black
Most
man
of us are looking at opportunities, trying to
Yeah.
move forward, trying to provide for our families, trying to be positive influences.
And-
like,
Or
Exactly.
if they're single, they're like, wait a second, I'm trying to figure out how can I get this money?
yeah,
Where can I get this? Where can I get a girlfriend? If
Yeah.
that's what they want. Just living life. The stuff that I've been hearing, like, I was like, y'all really have these much problems?
and then sure.
Do you really?
And then
have
sure,
this
it
much
does
problems?
take some experience in navigating it, right? Navigating relationships and all that. But it ain't like what these guys make it out to be. I've been ghosted. Girls done diss me. They'll be like, oh, no, this and that. Like, that's cool. Like, I've been rejected. That happens. But that don't make me like in opposition to black women because some chick ain't want me. Like,
I've been dumped via text message by one woman.
Yeah.
And we weren't dating long, but we kind of started dating. It was pretty cool and all. And then, she dumped me via text message. I'm sitting there like, wait, what?
Man.
And then sometime later I see her with her boy, who was supposed to be her boyfriend. I found out it's her fiance. She got a ring on her finger from this guy, and I found out, I was just a place taker. I was just a place setter. I was just taking the place of her man before he came back into the picture.
It's all part of the game. It happens, right? And it's hard, right? That's black men trying to navigate that relationship dynamic. But at the same time, I'm not about to like act like every single black woman is the devil. Every single black woman has my worst interest in mind. Nah.
And the fact that you're internalizing this for like 30 years, 20 years, like get over it. That's you have to
sound
move
like torture.
on.
That sounds like torture.
And move forward. So, but guys,
I'm sorry, D. I know you've been trying to close it down. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm about to go ahead and no, you had something to say. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead.
No. I'm done. I'm just chopping it up right now.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm gonna go ahead and close it out, brothers. So this is definitely a great conversation, and we've kind of covered a lot of layers as it relates to certain people and narcissistic related behavior that is displayed. And it's pretty much an examination of red pill and the type of people that, display this type of behavior for years. I've been in this space since 2016. 7 years I've been in this space.
Same
7 years.
Yep.
Right. And I have seen some of the same people speak the same shit since 2017.
Damn.
And I'm not lying. I kid you not. What's up, Amiri? Some of the same people. And some have gotten worse. Like I'm gonna name drop one person. Edward Anderson has gotten worse.
Never heard him.
You never heard? Oh,
good.
Nah.
Sound like he getting paranoid.
Man, Edward Anderson has gotten worse.
The only reason
I would say I guess his mother transitioned. Maybe that's
why. Yeah, they did. I heard that. But he's
so
gotten worse.
From if you hear most of his rants and stuff, and even to that point, I would be traumatized too. But go ahead. Someone say something.
No, I just started coming on because I got a friend I went to school with that I grew up with that's been doing it, and I've been helping him out on his show. And he's basically his show, like he's not all about the drama. He's not all about the nonsense. He'll talk about current events and everything. He will chime in on his opinion on certain current events that are going on. He will put out some, he will try to put out some advice, try to put some information out there for people to better themselves in every way, so on and so forth. And I've chimed in, and I'll be honest, it got me to start opening up more and more about my issues, about my issues with my mental health. And I'm not embarrassed or ashamed to talk about it. And I feel like if I could talk about some of the setbacks and challenges that happened in my life, I might be helping someone out there who's afraid to go seek out therapy, who's afraid to go and talk to someone about what's going on and try to do something about it. So in a way, it's kind of like I'm trying to be an advocate for brothers who don't have a problem seeking out help, brothers who don't have a problem going to therapy, brothers who don't have a problem and acknowledging that they're just struggling, And I think that sometimes the problem is, especially in our communities, we don't talk about mental health. We don't talk about it enough. We don't discuss about it. We feel like that's like a taboo subject. And like I said on your show before, D-Darrell, yesterday, it's gotten to the point where ministers and pastors are encouraging members of their congregation to seek professional help for these issues because they realize it's way beyond what they can do. And I think hopefully if me speaking about my setbacks and some of the things that happened to me in my past, that hopefully somebody who's listening, who's watching can see, hey, you know what, maybe I should seek out help. Maybe I should look into speaking to a therapist because it's okay. It doesn't make you any less of a man or less of a woman. It don't mean that you failed. It doesn't make you weak. The fact that you're willing to acknowledge it, that means you're strong. And the fact that you're willing to do something about it makes you even a stronger person. So don't let anybody or anyone tell you what's wrong with you who isn't going through the same problem or doesn't understand what you're going through. So if you feel like you have to seek out counseling and therapy, you do that. Because it's better to go to a counselor, go to a therapist, speak about your problems than depend on alcohol or any other type of shit as a coping mechanism for your struggles.
Right, right, definitely. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with Brother Speak. Last words.
Yeah, I mean, to say there's a lot of narcissists out here, I mean, I could agree with that. And I mean, let's face it. I mean, if you get all this attention from people that you in your regular life you never had attention like this before. I mean, I guess it would turn you into a narcissist, you know. And to keep these people, because you know these people because you know how you are, so you know how these people act, and you keep them angry and bitter and not wanting to change, and keep people who could change them with telling them the truth. If you keep them out to discredit them or keep them away, you got a steady flow of income, because there's always a new guy who got dumped, who probably going through child support, probably going through a divorce, or just not getting any success with women. There's a new person every day, and it's gonna get worse. So I mean, it's an easy money to do, easy money to get, man. But
Right,
anyway,
right.
thank you for having me up here, Dita.
Okay. Let's go to Anton.
I actually got to drop down, man. I'm about to go to
Okay.
sleep.
Well, go ahead.
But yeah, definitely appreciate it.
Any last words, brother?
No, man, I don't have no last words. It was a good conversation, man. I'm looking forward to more.
All right. Appreciate it.
Peace, brothers.
Gabe, you be safe, bro.
Yep, peace.
All right,
Right,
my
Gabe.
last words before I sign off, because my wife is looking for me right now.
Uh-oh.
All right, yeah. My final words is, I read this in a book, and it's a Native American philosophy, and it's something that I've learned to apply to my life, and hopefully everyone else starts to apply to it. Feed the white dog, starve the red dog. In other words, feed the the positive energy, starve the negative energy. If you feed the positive, you'll see more come out of it than the negative. The negative's always going to be there, but the more you continue to feed into the positive, the more you'll see the work that you're putting in come into play. You'll see it all start to come together. It's not going to happen overnight. Give yourself time, give yourself grace. The more work you put in, the more time you put in, the more you'll be able to appreciate and understand, and you'll be able to grow. And to a lot of brothers if you got some issues, don't be afraid to go out and talk to someone. Do not be afraid to go to therapy to deal with your issues and your conflict, because you got sisters out here that love us, and you got sisters out here that want to support us, and you got sisters out here that want to work with you to make you a better person. So don't be so quick to clown on them as well. And you got brothers out here that love you. You got brothers out here that support you, and you got brothers out here that want you to grow and to accomplish your goals as well. So all I can say is, to anyone that's out there that's dealing with this, find your dream maker. Go out there, put in the time, put in the work, and find your dream maker. All right, that's the best way I could put it, man. I mean, that's all I gotta say. And those are some words worth thinking about. All right, gentlemen,
Glad
it's
to
been
have
fun.
you up,
I'll
man.
see y'all around.
All right. Mr. Chaos, last words, brother.
Now I gotta catch replay of this, man. Some information I didn't catch, and I want to get as much as possible. But I guess there's some hope for the fellas. I really believe that the extreme types on the stems of having great family relationships are rolling over. Yeah, I was reading the chat room. So, only time will tell. Or when you do another stream on more of a deeper analysis, I catch it early. Because there's a lot of things to unpack with our community. Personally, I'm Deidre. So
all right. All right. Well, guys, I do appreciate you all for being up and getting my butt in the bed. Y'all have a great night. I will be going live on Tuesday, Thursday next week, and then the weekend. Peace.